Hello out there, internet land. It's time for another exciting game of Dungeons and Dragons. I actually got all this shit to work together for a miracle, but let me know if I need to make any adjustments with sound or anything like that. We're trying some new hardware out tonight, so yeah, just let me know. But anyway, John, DM, Table God, would you like to take over catching us up from last time?
Okay. So last time you guys were making your way across the plains of Atheists, making our first journey check that we've ever done in this game that we kind of stole from Lord of the Rings, but you know what? They don't make that game anymore, so that's ours.
That'll be our little secret.
So what you're saying is they could really use the money from a lawsuit.
The poor studio that lost the license, they're probably looking for some way to meet, get some ends to meet out there, and don't sue, please.
You're not gonna get much out of us anyway.
This is a labor of love.
You guys encountered some folks on the road. You guys also encountered the Dragon of Atheists as he roasted an entire fortress of gnolls that claimed to have dragon blood. You guys were able to hide successfully from him and his strange rider.
Nobody saw that coming.
Oh! It started early tonight. And as a result, you guys were able to sneak pretty stealthily into Tyr.
Pretty stealthy.
As you guys pull up to the outside of the city, you can see the large multicolored ziggurat out in the distance. The gold tower where, the Sorcerer King lives. And as you pull up, you see like a sort of tent city around the outside walls of slaves and mercenaries and free people flocking to the city for like a new chance, like a start in the just brutal wasteland that is Athos. As the ship, both the sand or the silt vessel and the large siegebreaker kind of pull up, there's a group of Crimson Legionnaires, the sort of the mercenary guild that like protects the city, kind of like rides out to meet you. You both separately get hailed down by different commanders of the Crimson Legion. They're riding Crawdoo. They have like blood red leather armor. They have spears, some helmets with a large plume of like a desert bird kind of on their helmets. They kind of ride up and ask, what's your business with the city?
I thought we got allowed in last time, but we couldn't bring the siegebreaker in.
You did, okay. If I went through that, I am sorry, I did not realize that. But yes, they say you can go in the city, but like the siegebreaker and the vessel have to remain outside the city walls. So your siegebreaker is parked kind of a respectable distance away from the city. They say that they even ask that you turn it so that the catapult isn't even pointed at the city.
We don't need anybody with a trigger finger.
We don't need that kind of energy radiating outside of our walls.
Little do they know it rotates.
What about the ballista?
As you guys are able to proceed into the city itself, you see that Tyr is kind of bustling with activity. The one big thing that is the biggest difference between Balak, you guys have really only been to Balak before. The rest of these guys have been a little bit more well-traveled across Athos. But Jared and Minor, you notice that there's just a peaceful atmosphere here in Tyr. There's a little bit of the same tension that, like, there are still pickpockets, there are still dangers on the streets, but there's not this oppressive, totalitarian eye constantly on you. You even see that the Templars of the city, dressed in modest, like, purplish black robes, carry more martial weapons and are more surrounded by Crimson Legionnaire guard. Not quite as overtly, arcanely powerful. They don't radiate this aura of menace.
Not so ostentatious.
Exactly. You can sort of tell that because maybe their Sorcerer King is a new kind of up-and-comer who's kind of embraced this this idea of democracy very, flippantly. Like, okay, I guess we'll try that. But as you walk through the streets, you see that there's a lot less tension kind of in the air. You guys would arrive from the caravan gate here into the nobles area of the city. I guess I'll just go around here real quick, and we'll get some activities and see what's going to happen here.
Activity.
Give me just a second. Let me pull some music.
Yeah, hopefully rocking dual Elgatos here, it'll pick it up a lot better. Gladiatorial Stadium. And anybody out there in chat, let me know how the sound is, and we'll make adjustments as needed.
It's a little bit ostentatious, a little bit like in your face. So let's go. Okay, I like that a little bit better. All right,
Sort of doomy.
let's start with you, Jesse. You and a couple of your bodyguards are walking through the city streets of Tyr. You find yourselves in the merchant district. First off, you find that you're surrounded by a little bit of homes closer to the nobility area that we're from Valak, a little bit more closely packed in because it's a walled city. But there are some noblemen you see finer dress. Servants look a little bit more healthy and attended to in the city than they do in Valak. But you are also able to kind of see some shops and whatnot. What would you like to do as you guys walk through the streets of Tyr?
I want to find out anything I can about any of the stuff in the area I was sent here to do.
Okay. As you're kind of looking around, you see that there is a Crimson Legionnaire guard kind of standing aside. Would you like to maybe question him?
Yeah.
Okay. As you walk up, he kind of tips his hat. Says, "What brings you to our city, traveler?"
Oh, we're just passing through on our way to freedom.
It's a fair area to the north. Although I hear they're having some trouble with some bands of raiders as of late.
Yeah, I'm counting on
Gives you kind of a confused look. Is there anything I can help you with in the here and now?
it. Can you point me in the direction of someone who could tell me about what's going on in freedom? Or I have Marsh Deep Keep written here.
Marsh Deep Keep. I've never heard of such a place, but there are some scouts in some areas in the Shadow Quarter that might be Shadow Square that might be in the know. He points to the far, kind of like down the area to the west. He says, "Follow the black inked lanes until you find a little bit decrepit, smaller area of town. The guard don't walk there.
Oh.
But that's where a lot of the, let's say, more industrious scouts and maybe lower moral groups in town tend to hang out. Just watch your pocketbook."
Ruffians.
Will do. Oh, flip him a coin.
He accepts it and just kind of goes back on patrol. You and who's with you at this point?
I'll say Captain Linnaeus is with me.
Captain Linnaeus, okay.
Varaka. A couple of guards for each of them, and
So you have like a small entourage.
yeah.
Okay.
Ari.
Alright, okay. As you guys make your way down the alleyways, you are able to find these little black arrows that kind of point, that are kind of hidden along the walls. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
What is it?
That's a 16.
So
25?
25. Yeah.
You notice that you're kind of going down into like what appears to be a natural depression. Like you keep heading downhill, and the roofs and the kind of the tops of the buildings are a little bit more packed than like you would imagine other spots to be. So you imagine probably there's like maybe some rooftop, if not snipers, then guards that probably keep their own kind of peace in this shadow square. But as you walk out, you see old buildings kind of marred with time, but colorful nonetheless, like painted garish colors. You see a few more like brothels and drinking dens and like the Athasian equivalent of like scuba dens. So like we'll say like spice huts. And various other.
Looks like you're
It's spice butts.
Very
looks
expensive,
like your Christmas character that has a comeback coming.
skullduggery going about. Your entourage kind of just sticking out like a sore thumb. Veronica kind of seems at home. She kind of punches you in and says, "Hey, I'm gonna go check out that building over there. I'll be back in maybe 2-3 hours." And then before she says anything, she just walks off.
Okay. She goes.
She walks into some random drinking den. But the captain sort of like, you see her kind of pulling tight ranks around. What would you like to like? Where would you like to begin your search?
Well, let's see here.
You see, there's an inn kind of in the far north corner, marked the Way Inn. That is a little bit better looking than most of the other places here. There is a crude bazaar, kind of on the street corner, like to the west side. It's a lot of like exotic bits and baubles and fruits and outside maybe outside sundries. There's a brothel to the east side. It is the classic purple lantern that you normally see at any brothel on Athos. You see a few various creatures kind of craning their heads and necks out of the windows, kind of making looks at the passersby. Humans, elves, malls, dwarves, some kind of mutant creature with green skin and like purple hair. Whatever wonders Athos has to offer can be found within. And then kind of to the south side where you're at, like the entrance, there's just some like ratways, like just like some old house, like some old homes, alleyways, run-down houses, maybe a couple of beggars kind of like laying against the wall.
Go to the inn.
Go to the inn. Right. Welcome to the Way Inn, and you notice that there is an abundance of rats. That you've seen rats before, but they appear there's like one on the windowsill just chilling out. But nobody kind of says anything about it. And as you walk in, the scent of like cooking spiced food kind of hits your nose, and it makes you kind of hungry. You haven't smelled anything like this good on Athos before. Maybe in like your other planar adventures, like maybe even just to like Sigil, some of the other like planar cities.
No.
But
Snafu can cook.
smell the foods that they find here at the Way Inn.
I sure would.
And as you're kind of walking inside, you see that there's a female dwarf, her bald head kind of shining in the shady darkness, kind of beckons you to a table. I got space over here if you want to sit down. I'll be with you in just a second. And a lot of cloaked figures kind of turn their heads up at you and look, and then just kind of go back down to their drinks.
No.
As you take your seat, kind of in the corner, your guards remain standing. They don't accept any drinks. The dwarven patroness kind of walks past, kind of elbows past him, like, "What can I get for you?"
What is that delectable sound?
Oh, it's the Way Inn stew.
Well, I'll have some weigh-in stew.
Orland or
Okay.
David? Orland or David?
No, Keenan Ivory. As a few minutes pass, there's this bowl of kind of brownish liquid with these big floaty chunks of mystery meat and like what appears to be carrots, kind of thrust in front of you. But it smells amazing. It smells really delectable.
We call this meal the blind pole.
just like every Tuesday, just close your eyes and put it in your mouth.
Yeah. I'll try it.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Respectable.
Go ahead and roll a d8 and gain 1d8 temporary hit points.
Nice.
Good one.
It's gonna count. It
It's,
doesn't matter.
it's not bad. It's like it. Gotta keep it down, but it's not bad. You see the captain's gonna try hers, and she immediately rushes it on the floor. You see the bar patron, like, she kind of like, she goes to the back and grabs a mop and starts mopping up. But you see this bar filled with various bits and people. Anybody in particular you want to maybe approach, or anybody you want to talk to at all?
See the rough-looking guy in the corner, just bowl after bowl. I was born in Glasgow.
He's got 4 empty bowls on his bed.
What kind of people do I see?
You see a group of what appears to be like teenagers, young humans. They'll be like a street gang. You see one lone mole, bald, but like muscle, like a ball of muscle, kind of in the corner. He's got a large spear, and he's got like a green cloak on, and like very little else. He's just got like maybe a tunic and sort of like a breechcloth. But he's got just these giant corded muscles covered in scars. And then you see on the other side, this old man who looks kind of wizened, and his teeth are like black and yellow. But he's kind of like projecting this aura of like oddity.
Ora.
This aura.
Menacing.
I'll talk to the waitress.
Do you want another bowl?
In a minute. I was hoping you could help me.
What can I help you with?
We seek information.
Okay. Well, the stew is. You want to ask what's in it? We have carrots.
Not stew.
Okay.
It's delicious, by the way.
Thank you.
I apologize for my friend. She's not as. Her palate is not as well traveled as mine.
And she's like still mopping. Just kind of gives you a curt little nod. Thank you.
Here, I'll take the mop and I'll hand it to like one of the guards and like tell them to finish so I can like talk to her.
He like takes it and starts mopping.
Don't give me the Charlie work.
It's like, do you want to be on the report?
He starts mopping fast. There's a little more effort into it.
You're a good enough job to get some pizza. Yeah.
If you behave, we'll stop at McDonald's on the way home.
Get you some chicken nuggets. McChickens.
But while I'm talking to her, I'm gonna like purposely raise my voice so like others can hear what we're talking about. I was like, well, we've come all the way from Balak because we heard rumor that one of the lost heroes of Balak, Kiliani, would be reappearing somewhere here in the area sometime soon.
I hope everybody heard me.
I said, Kiliani!
Kill anybody? Okay.
You hear some coughing and some shuffling of feet as you're kind of talking, and out of the corner of your eye, you see the old man get up and start to leave.
Old man.
I'm gonna like look at Linnaeus. Yeah.
She goes to draw a sword. Talk to him. Puts it back. Okay. She gets up and starts to follow him out. And you hear
And I'll look at Ari and be like, you two.
Ari kind of bows her head and goes with her. I see the bartender kind of looks at this little exchange and says, I've never heard of somebody called Kiliani, but I heard that the Great Eye is looking for some new followers in the Freedom area. They say that the Prophet of the Eye can heal any wound.
That's my shtick. Who is this? What is this Great Eye?
Apparently it's a being of great power that was discovered in the Freedom area. They say that the elemental cults are trying to win favor from the Eye, but none of them have so far have had the ability to do that. They say the Great Eyes Temple still remains locked.
So it's like a person, a single entity. It's not a group.
Oh, it's a group. There's a speaker. His name is Calyx, but he is the High Priest of the Eye. That's all I've heard. There's always some kind of cult or some kind of prophet that's claiming to have healing or so they can make true miracles appear, but it always appears to be just some guy using magic or some charlatan.
Typically.
If I were you, though, I'd be careful. There's a lot of violence happening between those groups in the Tier region, especially around Freedom. They haven't really come here. The Crimson Legion can protect the town from any shenanigans, but as soon as you leave the city walls, especially if you go to Bloon, that's a small trading city to the south near the marshlands, or if you go to Freedom itself near the mining colony, it's a little bit rougher.
Do any like shady types come through here pronouncing themselves to be affiliated with any groups on their way there?
She kind of looks to the group of ruffians that they didn't really pay any attention to you. They're just kind of like drinking and carousing with one another. I usually hear those guys talking about making a trade run to Bloon every couple weeks for spice, but other than that, we get all sorts in here.
Gotcha. Well, I thank you for your time.
As you kind of get up and look up, boom! Through the window, you see Lennius fly through that, and this purple trail of arcane like magic kind of like seals, like goes past her. And out in the street, you see the old man with his hand kind of glowing purple. Then you see your other follower, Ari, already like getting ready to cast one of the few cantrips that you taught her, and they were going to cut you. Jerry.
I blame the schools.
I'm
They're gonna cut you.
gonna find the Templars.
You want to talk to the Templars here in town?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am also a Templar.
Greetings, other Templars.
Included in greetings, other Templars.
Greetings, brothers.
As you kind of walk further into the city, I'm assuming kind of in your full Kingstarter regalia, or are you going to take kind of like a little bit more traveler-esque?
I'll be a Kingstarter.
Okay.
Kinky.
So you have your colors, you have your tabard, kind of marching into the noble area. You notice that you kind of have to get past the gates here, in near the gladiatorial arena, to get into like the main palace area. As you approach past the large gladiatorial pits, you are stopped at that main gate to the noble area, to the upper echelon area, and they kind of like cross your spears, and they say, if you have any business, come at sundown. There's going to be a line. King Tithian will see any and all petitioners at sundown.
I'm not here to see the king.
Then what is your business in the noble quarter?
I have business with the Templars.
Okay. One of the guards kind of snaps and waves. You see a squire of one of the Crimson Legion kind of like run off. Then a few minutes later, he brings back what appears to be a middle-aged man, kind of balding head, white hair running outside. He's got a lean, muscular fit. He is carrying what appears to be a metal sword, like a long sword of ancient sort of forging, covered in runes and sort of these shapes and arcane symbols. Other than that, he's wearing like a purple tunic, black cape, and some light leather armor. He walks up to you and says, "I am Casades. I am the Templar here, on guard here at the tower. Do you have business with the king?"
No, I'd like to speak with you.
You may speak your piece.
I'd rather do this away from, and I like gesture to the guards.
Okay, and he kind of gestures you off. You see there's like a small guard area next to next to the wall. You go into the small door, and there's like a watch station there, like a couple tables, a couple cots, a large jug of water, a small jug of beer, and like some food. He gestures to the table.
These guys, okay, so the Templars are like the King's Guard, right?
The
Well, what?
Templars are usually the fist of the Sorcerer King. They are kind of like the secret police that keep the cities in order.
Right, for each city.
Yes.
So they answer to the king of this city.
Yes. Are you asking him this, or are you just kind of like thinking to yourself, like, I'm going to get my thoughts in order?
Thinking to myself.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk. So I just came from Balak.
Okay.
And the king there,
Andrew Highness.
he wants to bring ruin upon Athos.
Okay, he kind of like concocts it. I'm like, okay.
Obviously, I don't want this to happen.
I don't think any of us would want this to happen, but if you're looking to petition like help against another sorcerer king, that's definitely going to be business for King Tithian.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think any sorcerer king can be trusted. I think anybody with that level of power will be corrupted to their core and will not use it for any good.
I know I'm not here, but isn't it that Tyr has like they don't have a sorcerer king anymore? They have like a guy they appointed, but it's like a council that he still.
So like
They rotate weekly.
so like imagine like Lord of the Rings happens, right? But then like Aragorn dies, right? And then just some like or no.
Like Denethor?
Okay. No, here we go. So Lord of the Rings happens and Sauron dies, okay? And then just some random orc walks up and picks up the ring and say, I'm Sauron now! That's who Tithian is. Tithian was a Templar who assisted in his assassination who's just like, I'm the king now!
Primo Wormtongue!
So he's got two advisors that you know of. This is kind of common knowledge. His advisors are kind of teaching him the ways of being a sorcerer king, so he has very little power. As you mentioned, the fact that these sorcerer kings accrue power, blah blah blah. You see that Casades kind of like turns his head. He says that would be correct of most others. I feel as though Tithian's heart is in the right place. He assisted the destruction of Kalak, the sorcerer king, during one of his rituals that would have turned the entire city to ash. It would have brought about a draconic transformation for King Kalak himself. I would trust any other man. I would trust no other man as much as I trust King Tithian.
I'm a very hard person to trust. As in...
Wow!
I am a very hard person.
Wait, is that the
He gets
There's the test. Is that the truth?
Wink.
Wait.
He goes up, he cuts off a slice of cheese, pours himself a beer, lets you get your thoughts together, comes back, sits down. Okay.
That's a long drink of beer.
Keeping you on your toes.
I do not trust people very easily.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
How do I know that Tithian? King Tithian is the man that you say he is?
If you would petition the king at sunset, and I will say, you know that very little other sorcerer kings on Athens would ever allow petitioning to happen. If you want to come to sunset and petition the king, you're more than welcome to come.
I roll a 1 on insight, so I'll believe it.
Yes, you're going.
He'll even do this for you. I will introduce you to him myself. If you're an envoy from Balak and you have an official business with the king, you look as though you have wearing your official garb. You look like an envoy of sorts.
I have my fucking Templar uniform.
So you look like
hard.
He says, I will introduce you first in tonight's session. You can talk to the king yourself.
Okay. And I raise the last bit of my beer and
He'll clink glasses with you.
then I'll head to. There's got to be a little tavern or something nearby.
Yeah, he'll point one out to the nobles' quarter. Let's see.
I'll just head there and eat and drink until.
He'll point you out to the Sleeping Giant. It's on the west side of town in the Noble Quarter, and or the east side of town in the Noble Quarter. They're near the brickyards, and he walks you there. And has a fine conversation. He commented that he was given his powers as a Templar after Tithian's rise. He was just a guard in the Crimson Legion before, but now he's got this arcane powers. He feels like he can help protect the city of Balak. You get the sense that this guy's a true believer. Most Templars are either corrupt or in it for like just power, but Cassandus here is probably one of the rare types that is a true, honest soul when it comes to wanting to protect a city. But he leads you in to the Sleeping Giant, buys you a couple drinks, and he has to go back on his watch, kind of leaves you there. So as you're kind of waiting for the evening to come to fruition here, Jared and Snafu, Barretta, you two usually travel together. Is this something that you want to travel the streets of Tyr together, or are you going to part ways, do it separately?
I have something specific needed, but Pyretta could be along too, so.
I'd like to think since we're so close to home, I'd stick with Snafu a little bit more, but I will be kind of, discreetly, not just, hey, as we're traveling along, I'd like to side quest along Snafu and ask about, ask about if anybody has seen or knows of Knock.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an insight.
As a player, I know an answer to that.
Well, I mean, it's no secret that I'm looking for him in our group, so you would know that if you
Has
Snafu
ever heard of Knock?
You ever heard of Knock?
Okay.
He's like the Ben Kenobi of like the northern jungles. He's the leader of a halfling city, grand archdruid, but he's notoriously mean and ill-tempered, and does not like to help without incentive, but because he's very xenophobic, isolationist. But he can be swayed, just takes him a while. So yeah, he's very esoteric. But what'd you get with that insight?
14.
You basically learn that there's been a few people that have introduced themselves to, like, Knock has introduced themselves to. They seem mostly the heroes of Tyr were the only ones that really contacted him. They said that the weapon procured to slay King Kalak was given to them by Knock himself. It was a spear called the Heartwood Spear, a pure, blessed wood that would, bypass any magical barrier. But that's basically the legend that has been propped up around the assassination of King Kalak. Other than that, they don't really know anybody you can talk to in the city. You might have to travel back to the forests.
Okay, I kind of figured, but I just thought I'd dip, fish a little bit and see, since we're a little bit closer. But other than that, I have no particular business here, so I'll just kind of stick with Snafu and guide him along if you
What
want.
does Snafu know about Sierra?
About the same. You know that she's one of the heroes of Tyr. You've heard through secondhand knowledge that she spoke to, or her band of adventurers had spoken to Knock, received his aid. She was there for the assassination, but you've never heard anything specific about her, just that she's one of these legendary
Is she
allies.
somebody who I know? Is she like in a position of power in the city? I mean, is it good if I ask a guard, hey, I need to talk to Sidira, is that going to set off some red flags?
Give me a history check real quick.
I'm trying to separate what I know from what Snafu knows, so after having read. History, you said?
Yes.
That's an 11.
As you were kind of like talking around, you name dropped Sidira once or twice, and they say that she is usually in the palace as she is labeled as the grand art, like the grand historian, or the grand arcanist. They know that she is a preserver of sorts, trying to help keep the city's magical community from getting out of control. She is not exactly looked well upon by some people. Some people think she's just a defiler. But that is, rumor of any kind.
I just don't want to be like walking into Washington D.C. and asking a cop, "Hey, can I go speak to the Speaker of the House?" Wait, why?
Why?
Yeah. So that's what I just trying to figure out what kind of thread do I need to walk there? What kind of line?
You might have a good idea. You might have a good chance going to the Noble District and looking for maybe like alchemy shops and stuff like that. She'd probably have a line there.
Okay.
Because she's a practitioner of arcane magic. She'll definitely need some materials for big potion making and stuff like that.
Okay. I'll head to the noble section. You might like this place I have in mind, Peretta.
Oh, really?
And what's a decent looking asking about a potion shop isn't going to set up any red flags either, is it?
They're more like
because magic's generally frowned upon.
Generally frowned upon, or alchemy is more of a science in a lot of these places. It's a noble's pursuit. It's he's mixing herbology and stuff like that.
Okay.
Trying tinctures and medicines and all that.
Chemistry.
Exactly.
I'll just ask a guard or somebody on the street, like, "Hey, what's a good alchemy place recommended?"
He kind of looks down. He says, "Well, I'm not sure if they'll welcome halflings, but there's one called the Arboretum. It's usually decorated there in vines." And he points a building down maybe 3 or 4 lanes away, and you see that there is a 2-story building covered in green vines and flowering plants. Very rare sight out here. But it is a touch of green and otherwise drab and orange, world.
I'll thank them and head that way.
As you get closer, the scent of flowers kind of picks up on your nose, and you recognize a few.
Other than the scent of this filth of the city.
You recognize a few rare specimens from the jungles growing on these vines and trellises. As you walk up to the door, you can see that there's about 3 patrons inside. A wealthy noble woman and 2 of her kind of handmaidens, an older gentleman, and a younger woman, kind of in her mid-20s, kind of pouring through these various pots of flowers and then smelling them and putting one down and obviously trying to pick out some stock. Behind the desk, however, is a tall, slender elven woman, almost silvery, platinum blonde hair, very pale skin, kind of just trimming a few things here. She has a small water, like a jug of water that she's watering a few things. Kind of notices you first, and her eyes kind of drift down to you, and she addresses you, saying, "Welcome to the Arboretum. How may I help you, fellow denizen of the wilds?"
Peretta is just clearly distracted by all that's around her, and she's just kind of going through, not necessarily roughing things up, but she's just like, "Oh my God, I've seen this. I know, I've grown this, just kind of musing to herself, and I'm just admiring the lovely work that you've done here.
Oh, thank you.
We're if you don't mind my asking, where do you happen to grow these wonderful plants?"
Up on the premises, I have a garden up on the roof and some various areas in the basement. But is there anything I can help you with in particular?
Out of character. Give me a minute.
Sure.
Let me mull this over.
Go ahead. She just kind of gives you the. If you need anything, just tell me.
Yes. Peretta's like, this is just so much. Let me take this in a moment. I'm sure I'll think of something.
Of course.
Question: what does Snafu know about the Veil?
Give me history.
Hey, there's an 18.
If you were gonna openly ask about the Veil, you'd probably get beaten up. by a lot of people. But you know the veil operates in code. A lot of code phrases, a lot of codes talk. Not like to the level of like thieves can't, like a separate language, but
Which I know.
like a few key phrases, such as the secret way being the talk of magic, or the gardeners of Atheists, the preservers. Kind of a few key phrases here and there that you picked up.
Okay. Would I know if it's bad to give a phrase to somebody who doesn't know, or like, okay. So if I pop a phrase, they're not gonna be like, what the fuck you talking about, or turn you in, or
Geese fly high.
It wouldn't be like a get him, but
right, okay.
it's kind of what they use just to see if they know who they're talking to.
Okay. As you said, she kind of just quickly looked at me and.
Not disdainful, but she just looking at a person, halfling usually, albinos, cannibals sometimes. And she just assumes that you're maybe a helper.
Hello, Mr. Johnson.
She shouldn't jump up on a shelf and go.
Just poop in your hand.
Yeah. What's simpler?
Right. It's a lovely shop you have here. Does
She's like,
Sajira
"Talks."
tend to come through here?
Excuse me, what? Who?
Sadira?
The
Yeah, it's the only one I know.
the councilwoman?
Yeah.
I mean,
She likes alchemy.
occasionally, yes. I haven't seen her in a while. Usually she keeps to the libraries of the palace, or the gardens there, but I've seen her pop in occasionally for a rare ingredient.
Oh, I just thought it'd be fun to kind of meet her. She's
What's your passive perception?
my passive perception, 12. Oh no, that's 12.
Okay. She says, I want you with maybe the palace. There's a petition this evening at sunset. The council will be there. And she should be seated if you would need to petition something with her. I'm not sure what outsiders, travelers would have to petition her for, but she is available if you're, if you require aid.
I do thank you. I've traveled a bit and seen some things, and I just got a question.
You see the noblewoman and her handmaidens kind of cut in front of you as you're kind of thinking, and they set like a bottle of like rose water and some various other things, and she starts like, a moment please, and she starts to bring them up. Doing a head count of the stores, you're kind of like turning around again. The lady who was ingredient hunting is gone. The older gentleman is still there.
Somebody just did ingredient hunting?
Yeah, she was picking through all the
Okay, there, that was
Sniffing.
Okay.
and then putting back, and she's like kind of picking through like six different like large jugs of various ingredients, and putting back.
I count of. I guess I'll look around maybe for some extra poison components
Okay.
while I'm here.
She has 4 available poison components. She's got a lot more, basically just alchemy equipment and herbalism, stuff like that. But if you want to buy her 4 poison components, she'll charge you 50 gold.
A piece or
For the total.
For the total? Okay. Alright, yeah, I'll grab those. 4.
Greta kinda is wearing off, the shock is wearing off a little bit, and she approaches the noblewoman. She's like, you have many fine ingredients I haven't seen in so long from this area and otherwise. But she
The
kind of,
noblewoman or the shopkeeper?
the shopkeeper,
Okay.
I assume they were one and the
So
same.
the noblewoman kind of like passed by, turned up her nose, and and left.
Oh.
Like, you hear her make like a subtle comment about like the air in here has gone stale, and you know, taking her. Yeah.
But anyway, the shopkeep, I'll say this too, and she kind of like, I'm something of an alchemist myself, but I'm looking to expand my repertoire, if it were. Are there any recipes of interest you'd be willing to part with? For coin, of course.
She grabs a book from the back, and you can see it's written in Elvish. And she does. You did notice that she did have it in a hiding spot. She pulled it out of like a secret drawer.
Okay.
She lays it on the table, and she says, "I have a few common recipes that you might already know. I know alchemist fire. I know acid. I know every bit and ball that there is. Was there a specific thing that you're looking for?"
Well, I'm looking to take on something bigger and difficult. My friends and I have been traveling around quite a bit, and it might be useful to have something ready for them, be it in combat or just surviving in general. But she's like, what would you be willing to part with? What would you say is the biggest thing that you'd be... I'm looking to learn. I'm looking to... This is all very useful, don't get me wrong, but this is more of the common sort of... any journeyman could probably get through these.
Well, this is a trade secret, but you don't look like you're going to be opening up any rival alchemy shops in my city.
Oh, heavens
So,
no, I have so much else to do.
I have here, it is a potion of sorts, uses fruit, and she kind of extends this
Not
book,
orange cactus root, is it?
turns around,
No.
okay. She turns around this book, and you don't read Elven, but there's a picture of this large sort of grapefruit-looking thing that's got an etched green
Why would she
inside.
read Elven?
Huh?
Why would she know Elven?
She knows how to speak it. She doesn't know how to read
Oh.
it. I mean, there's not many chances to learn the Elven out. Do you have? What's your intelligence?
Well, I mean, I do have whatever proficiency. I'm tripping over it. What'd you say? What is my
Intelligence.
intelligence? Is 14.
I'd say okay. Never mind. You know, you're just your hand penmanship is probably atrocious, but you know how to read it. It is a potion fruit that is a sort of antiviral or poison, and she extends you a small slip of paper. She'll copy it down. It's for a
Antitoxin.
antitoxin, yes.
Okay.
If you want this recipe, it's going to be 25 GP, but I will add antitoxin to your repertoire of things you can make.
I'll go ahead and I'll give her 40.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I
I appreciate this one artist to another.
I just remembered, I got some carrion crawler mucus. Is that something you could use?
If you want to trade it for those poison coupons,
I was gonna ask, do you have some spider meats? What was I used to make the cakes? It was spider
use spider eggs.
eggs. Do you have any spider eggs?
Hello.
Hi.
I don't have any of them.
I also say an antitoxin?
Antitoxin.
Okay.
Alright, well, I'll trade the carrion crawler mucus then.
Okay.
I don't remember if there was anything, I didn't have anything written down for that, so.
No.
Well, any effects or anything. And then I guess I'll just head to the palace. Next thing would be to head to the palace and see if I can't get a word in.
Okay. As you guys walk out, Melgas. Sorry, I picked a awkward moment for you.
Oh god!
Oh God!
Call those pants down! Yeah, call those pants down.
As you walk in the city, you've been to here a few times before.
They don't play the Big Apple theme for me
You know the sights, you know the sounds. There's a one-time place on 5th that is just amazing.
Shut up, Billy Joel. I've been here.
What does that do? You're back in Tears. It's been a few years.
Years.
4 years.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Walk in the Noble District.
Vegas! Live forever!
I guess would I know of any like magical curiosity shops?
There might be one or two that could still be open. Give me a perception test.
I've got that now. If I can roll high enough, that's another thing. 18.
You go to one that was an adventure hub, kind of in the Shadow Quarter, or the Shadow District, or whatever. It is now a spice den, unfortunately.
Always happens.
You go to another one that was in the Noble Quarter. That was more of it was a little more upscale, like a Pier 1. You know, like, it was all imports. You know, hoity-toity, like, this sword is, can sing when swung, but they just, like, drill holes in it,
Mm-hmm.
But there's occasionally some good stuff there. They're open. And there's a third one in the Merchant District that is closed every day you go to check there, but miraculously today it is open.
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
As you walk in,
I was gonna say I'm looking for like not. I'm not looking for like Best Buy. All right. I'm looking for that like small town. We work on cell phones kind of place.
This is a closet that is just it's like a shack.
Yeah.
That was erected in like an alleyway. That was like so it's like built in to like an existing alleyway. It's no bigger than like
You basically put the counter
on
top to block it.
Yeah. As you step in, you maybe have like 4 feet of movement. So you have to like crouch down to like look at all the shelves.
Tuck my tail.
Tuck your tail in. But as you walk in, there's this old guy, human, 60s. He's got like this white long beard. He's got like a top knot that goes like kind of back, and he's got these like little tiny like glasses, but that like couldn't possibly help anyone because they're so small. And you see him adjust them as he's reading something, and he puts it down, and he kind of looks and says, "Oh, can I help you? Yes. Welcome to my meager stand. I am not quite ready for business yet. I haven't opened yet, but I don't really have a door, so come in.
I'll, kind of like gesture bow to him and say, "Oh, don't rush around on my account."
Oh, good. And then
He sits back
Carry on.
He's like, "Coffee's not even brewed." I said, "I've merely just come to check out your wares."
I have quite a few bits and baubles. Come from various bits of ruins here in the city and the Undercity, some of the areas surrounding. I have here, gestures to one wall, various like curios, knickknacks, objet d'art of like old carvings from like ancient cultures. He's got like a neat
this like slate of rock, and he's like, "This was the Sorcerer King's."
He's got like this long sort of wand. This was King Kalec's wand. I procured it from his body, and it's just like a stick he found. But you do recognize some actual some old coins, like kind of in a like he's got like a small jar of various coinage. You see that there are some Like he's got like an old platinum piece in there from like before the fall of, you know,
Did you
Atlas.
wander into a museum of Tyrian history?
Apparently.
But he's just like, you know that nobody really accepts them anymore, so they're kind of just worthless. But if you want to search to see if he has something of maybe hidden value, go ahead and give me an investigation.
Yes. There we go. 23.
As you're kind of looking over his stock, you do notice that there is a small chest that is open with a series of bits of jewelry in it. And he's kind of picked through. There's some cool rings in there. And then there's also a key. And you know that when you touch the key, it's kind of warm to the touch. But it's just a rusted old brass key.
Would an Arcana check on it give me any insight?
It might give you the school of magic that maybe enchants this item.
Okay.
Was it perhaps used by religious men? Is it a brass monk key?
Oh, yes, the Boys of the Beast. And their journey to No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Brook L.N.
Brook LN.
14.
You know that the magic is of a transmutation. If you had to venture a guess, the fact that it's on a key, it might be sort of unlocking magic, or maybe even locking magic.
It might be unlocking magic or unlocking.
Unlocking magic.
Oh, okay. I was like, maybe it's both. I'll say, curious. What does this key go to?
Oh, it goes to everything.
Way to narrow it down.
Finally,
I can't.
chastity belt off.
I'm surprised you found that. I was looking for that quite some time ago. Count takes it. He says, "This key was given to me by a wise old sage that claimed he found it in an old mage tower from before the fall.
Oh.
He said that with this key, being as old as it is, it probably doesn't have many charges left. If you tap it against the door and say lock, the door will lock magically. It can be broken down only with the most mighty of physical blows, or maybe dispel. Spell is dispel magic. However, if you were to tap it against something and say unlock, the door itself is not magically locked. Sweet. Minor enchantment for a minor item, but useful.
Seems most every magical item would have its use at some point or another. Also wouldn't be magic.
The way magic is.
You said it probably doesn't have that many charges left.
He assumes it has maybe 1d4 plus 3 charges. And once they're gone, they're gone.
And then you truly have a rusted key.
I got this Velcro I'm doing. We haven't invented Velcro yet.
Was there anything else that you had?
What was your result?
23.
23.
For investigation.
Let me look something up real quick. 71 moments.
Uno momento.
What the heck? I had all my stuff organized. It must have been my actual computer, not this computer. Here it is. Not a period cult.
you've got. Show me what you got.
He's got a belt, specifically a belt buckle, that you are able to see. Like there's a belt buckle. There's a like a set of brass knuckles. There's a variety of various bone pipes and stuff like that. But the belt buckle itself is made out of stone. As you kind of touch it, you once again get that feeling of warmth.
I guess I'll inquire about the belt buckle as I Arcana check it.
Yeah.
20.
With a 20, it is a. I can narrow it down for you a little bit. It's a sort of a buffing magic.
Okay.
Buffing and polishing.
Yes.
It makes things shiny.
It's shiny. It's a shiny stone belt buckle.
I'll inquire about the belt buckle then.
Ooh.
It holds your pants up.
Ah.
Forever! Belt of pant holders.
Have a bottle opener on it.
That belt buckle was worn by the great dwarven hero Gorak Tarag, the stone giant of the windswept mountains. They say that he would drink and eat all the dank beer and rotten food he wanted and never got sick.
You know a half elf that doesn't.
Apparently, if you were to wear that and attune yourself to it, you would gain a bit of bonus constitution. What is your constitution score right now?
20.
You might not get any benefit from that. Let's see if maybe I have something that might be a little bit more your speed. What's your lowest ability score?
14.
Then what is it?
Either strength, wisdom, or charisma. Or dexterity.
Just your power stats over there.
I just have everything.
He has 2 good stats.
14, you said?
Yeah, 14.
Lowest.
And strength, dex, or wisdom, or charisma.
I have this. He kind of pulls out an amulet. It is a stone amulet with a glass eye in it. And within the eye is sort of a cloudy blue sort of color. It is an unnatural sort of eye. It looks like almost like reptilian of a sort. He said this was the eye of a wind drake. Was set upon an ancient wizard made this. It gives one the wisdom of the winds. And if you hold it, you get that warmth. It is a stat boost instead of constitution, but for wisdom. It would boost your 14. It would require attunement, so it'll take one of your attunement slots. It'll take that 14 up to a 16. He says, this is one of the items I know is magical, and I'm going to be charging 2,000 for it.
How about a magical sphere of slope detection?
Does it work uphill?
It's not horrible.
You were what I asked.
This is a marble of potential energy.
Unless it's on a hill, then it's Marble, Connecticut.
There you go. Well, that's you casting whatever magic's in it. You're releasing it.
Science.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. 2,000 GP, sir.
Wow.
Who in the hell just carries this around?
Also,
All pennies.
I'll also ask him if I haven't been to Tyr in some time. How frequently are dragonborn spotted in this fair city now that it's free? Too much.
Oh. Enough to warrant notice, I'd say. Some of the tribes from the west have traveled east. A lot of the slavers who worked for Al-Bakray and Erkind and Ram have come here and given up their code. I heard that a lot of them were betrayed and sold into slavery themselves by the queen and one of her whims. So we see quite a few. Usually they'll be found mostly in. There's a small port trade city near the marshlands called Nulb. Excuse me, Blund. Pardon me. Blund, where a lot of them gather. It's kind of a hub for seedy activity.
Is that like on the way to freedom? Okay. I'll say, well, maybe I can give some of them a possible second chance at life. I'm far from my home myself, but I'd also like to take in the Dragonborn as I find them, just because they're not quite welcome in most parts of Atheists, so.
What cause, sir? Is there anything else I can help you with?
He doesn't have like a bag of holding, does he?
He does, but he is not something. Yes, you saw him scoop all that gold in one tiny bag.
Gotcha. Nope, that should be all then.
I will say, if you're looking, do you ask him like straight up if he has a bag of holding? There's a man who lives in freedom, who is my cousin. He is also a member of a certain alliance that fails that practices magic. He might not have a full bag of holding, but he might have a handy haversack. I've heard him say quite a few things about the things he's able to haul with him. I've heard such an object does exist more commonly. He may have one for sale.
Okay. That is my next destination. I'll be sure to look him up.
Ask for Ragast.
Okay.
You realize you get there and it's just going to be him.
With a mustache.
Instead of a beard, he's got a mustache. No, if you excuse me, I have to finish making my breakfast. He reaches into the bag, pulls out a large egg, cracks it on the counter, and then just like pulls another pot out of one, pours the contents into it. Just this little explosion. This little explosion happens, and he pulls a fully cooked like egg out and just starts eating it.
What was I watching that was like, you would say smoke bomb, and then somebody did like an actual smoke bomb, and figured out the smoke bomb, was like, oh, that's much more effective than just saying smoke bomb.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking bug me now.
But as you walk out, we went back to the bar where Jesse is currently picking up his captain out of the wreckage of a table. The old man kind of snarling at her from the outside. Jesse, what do you want to do?
Laugh.
I'll get up and confront him.
Right. As you get up and he sees you start to move, he kind of like has another snarl on his face, and he's going to aim up at the top of the doorway to the tavern and shoot an eldritch blast.
I'm gonna summon a bucket of water.
Go ahead and give me an dexterity save.
Dexterity?
Yep.
Doesn't do any damage to you physically, but damage you're probably doing.
Yeah.
16.
Because it's not clean water.
Take 42 emotional damage.
You take 4 points of bludgeoning as like the wreckage. You're able to pass through the wreckage of the door, but it does kind of drop. There's some stones do drop on you and kind of catch you in the head. But he's going to take off down the alleyway. You gonna give chase?
Yeah, and I will try to cast Hold Person on him.
Okay, you get one chance before you have to start this chase.
So Wisdom saving throw.
What's your DC?
Yeah, it's been a while, I don't know. 18.
He fails, but he's going to use 11-year resistance.
Of course he does.
And you see him for a moment. When the spell hits him, this glamour kind of goes away from him, and he doesn't look like this decrepit old man with these rotting teeth. He is a tall, sort of blonde-haired, thickly muscled man, and on his forehead is an eye tattoo. And for that second, it flashes, and now his glamour's back, and now he looks like this decrepit old man, snarls and runs, and keeps running. So go ahead and give me a athletics test.
Caught with your pants down, boy.
Why I don't wear pants.
I mean, I guess it does solve that dilemma. Creates several others, but
It's not my problem.
25.
Everyone else's.
25 you got?
I don't know what is that. That's what you want. Sand and sunburn on your junk all day, man.
Of course, it gets everywhere.
Okay. He got a 16, so you catch back up with him. You get one more to action against him. What would you like to do?
Just wanted a hug. I just want to talk. Disgusting teeth turned me on.
I'll hex him.
Hex. Okay. Any saving throw on that?
No, it just happens.
You use hex. Bam. He's gonna keep running. Go ahead and give me another athletics.
19.
Alright. You get one more action on.
I'm just gonna straight up try to tackle
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
him. Okay. Oh, for his hex, I choose an ability.
Yes.
And he gets disadvantage. I'm gonna choose strength.
Okay. Strength.
Right up.
As you kind of like, you get him in a corner and you dive at him, he just dodges to the side and kind of like you land in this wreckage of a box and you kind of get up and he starts to move again. It's gonna be one more. He has disadvantage on this because you hexed in. Nat 20.
27.
All right. With that, you go. You know, try to tackle him again. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna manifest Torin. And
Okay.
just kind of like wave it around. I was like, do we have to keep this chase game going or can we just finish this?
As he turns around, the old man kind of grins and says, "That's a new trick for you, Kiliani." And he drops that glamour. And you don't know where you've seen this guy before, but he does jog a certain memory.
I've tried to kill you before.
Give me an insight test.
Which one's inside? There it is. What did I get? 28.
You remember years ago that you had an election.
Yes, I ran for Templar.
I ran for Templar. And there was a couple people that you had to run against. And one of them was this young, upstart, kind of wannabe mage. And he was little, he had potential, but you knew that given between you and him, there was nothing he could do to threaten you.
Well, when you promise the people of Balak unlimited drinking water.
So, using your political favor and your clout, you had his estate burned. You had his father exiled. And he sort of fell into ruin.
All sounds like things I would have done.
And as you look at this person, you don't recognize the the kind of young upstart kid that you were running against as this like 18-year-old noble. You see a 27-year-old with a approach. And with that, you are able to recognize this as you don't know his name, you don't remember his name as of yet, but you have met this person before in the far past. And whatever he is turned to now to gain power is tied to the eye. And he's going to raise a hand for a spell. What would you like to do?
Remove the eye.
Gives him his power.
Take the eye for yourself. Think of the power.
I will.
So you got like 10 seconds.
I will counter with my own Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll damage.
The day Kiliani ran for election was the most significant day of your
of
life.
this man's life.
For Kiliani,
It was a Tuesday.
I don't even know who you are.
So just roll damage.
Yep, roll damage.
I'm hitting him with all
Roll
three.
that narrows it down. You exiled my father. Burned my farm.
6,
Prepare
12,
to die.
8 is 20, plus 15, 35.
You do take out the eye, but not the one on his forehead. You raise, and as he finishes casting his Dimension Door spell, your beam catches right across his face, and you see as he apparates out, this spat of blood hit the wall, and just he winks out of existence.
Is the eye still there?
Yeah, like it's congealed against the wall.
I'm going to take it.
Scrape it off the wall.
Is anyone caught up to us yet?
Yeah, the captain's like she's got this obvious burn mark. Some of the other guards are like kind of huffing and puffing, but with that 20, you really pulled ahead of the pack and got ahead of him.
Just saying, you know a guy who can find people
Right.
with bits of their personal belongings.
I will hand it off to one of them and like, put this in evidence.
She reaches again.
A picture, she's like, yeah, sure.
You know what I'm doing? I'm giving it to Mop Guy.
Give it to the rookie. Rookies in the corner just puke his guts out.
He pulls off his cap and he just puts it in his hat. He's like, I'll get a new hat.
The straw hat starts oozing through.
But you know now, with that 20, and with that insight check, that there is someone at least tied to the eye that knows,
Without an eye.
without an eye,
Poor thing.
who knows who you are.
So it's safe to say if he knows, other people know. There's people like that. They're beakers.
But otherwise, he is gone. Well, most of him is gone.
Hold up the eye, but not forgotten.
I won't forget this.
So, as evening kind of falls, what else would you like to do?
Round up the posse and catch up with everybody else.
Okay. You kind of get to where a lot of people are heading to the palace. Same with you, Micah. You kind of meet up with some of the other members of your entourage and say that Jeremy, Pyretta, and Snafu are all going to go to this petition this evening, where the king will petition, to hear the will of the people. Shortly after, sundown.
Jeremy, you should get in a wrestling match with him.
Wrestle.
I thought about checking out the gladiator pits. I figured I would have fought in these at least once.
I remember.
In my history.
In the first Dark Sun campaign, I bartered with an old woman for a ritual on how to, you do the ritual and you locate someone.
Mm-hmm.
Do I still know that?
Well, you do have a dagger that helps you track down specific people now.
That too.
I know scrying those. was what I was getting at.
Hold on, I need a kingly, regal music.
What the heck are the game doing?
So the
So,
last 4 games.
alright. So, I'm a little jealous. One of my old coworkers and my buddy Tom both text me at some point today saying, "We got sweet tickets to the Red Wings game tonight." And I'm like, out of anybody I know, you are both the first people to text me this and at the same time. And where the hell are they passing these tickets out?
Right.
But the suite, if you aren't familiar, is like you get your own private room.
Oh, not like
Yeah.
SWE.
Yeah,
Sweet
yeah.
tickets.
No, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Sweet
Yeah, that's why I wanted to clarify.
SUITE.
Yeah, you get your own personal room with like maybe a dozen other people that might be your friends or whoever. But you get private catering.
Yeah.
You get private drinks, like a little bar, mini bar of your own,
Damn.
and usually really good seats to go with them. When I went to one game at a suite at Joe Louis Arena, we actually hung over the ice just about, and we had a little balcony with seats that you could go out and watch, and just basically, you could almost spit on the players if you wanted to. But
Throw an octopus on them.
But yeah, it's like a really good experience, and I'm like, where the hell did you guys just randomly get these?
As you guys head out later that evening, the Golden Tower here, you are led to the Golden Tower with a group of other nobility. You more or less present yourselves as envoys and a group of adventurers representing from the city of Balak. There's a major domo kind of walks up to you and says like, okay, the king, the Templar that you were talking to, Jeremy, does lead you to the front of the line like he promised. He says kind of to all of you, the council's in session, they're wrapping up their meeting, and at the end of the meeting, they will hear from the people. There are 10 slots for tonight. He has the first. You have the first one tonight. Let me see where I can fit you guys in. What's the highest charisma bonus between all of you? 5?
2.
Not that.
1.
I was gonna say, these 3 well-dressed, noble regarded heroes, and then us 2 savages scratching our fleas behind you.
Well, you will be as a group.
Ticks.
They're going to like see all of you as a group. That's going to be like the how you get in.
No, I know. I think it's funny because these guys all have history, and they're all, and you and me are just, literally. Snafu picks a tick off me, I turn into a bird and pick one off.
This is the city life.
Whoa, this is highfalutin.
I'm just gonna walk up to the door and go, knock, knock.
You are the third slot. There's a landowner ahead of you that has a complaint about mankegs in his farmland.
Hey,
But-
drop your pocket.
As the doors to the Golden Tower swing open, you can see seated upon a large golden dais where there was once one throne, it is now crammed with 5. And you can see in the center is a man kind of in his middle 50s. He's got a trim white haircut, like long hair, but like kind of like flowing long hair, and a sort of a tasteful goatee and mustache, wearing a golden diadem. You can assume this is King Tithian. And he is next to him, the strangest sight you've ever seen, 2 floating heads. They look like their necks were sewn shut, and they are floating kind of next to his ears as like little floating advisors.
One always tells the truth, and the other one always lies.
Seated next to him is a large hulking mull that immediately, once he sees he sees you, Malagaz, and sees some of you guys, he kind of like looks up, and a small wry smile cracks across his face. This is Rikus, the leader of the Crimson Legion. You have dealt with him before in your previous adventures. He knows the heroes of Balak personally. He kind of gives you a slight nod.
I was gonna say Rika sounds familiar.
Seated adjacent to him, there is a smaller human woman, but anybody would be smaller in comparison, maybe not Ragnar, to this person. Kind of a human warrior woman. Reminds you a lot of Korra. but she has, instead of the black hair that Cora has, she has sort of a coppery red hair, kind of done in like a warrior's top knot. This is Neva, one of the other gladiator warriors from the people of Tyr. Seated opposite Tithian, there is a woman with kind of sandy dark skin and black hair kind of pulled back into a bun. Oh, I'm sorry, no. She's fair-skinned. Fair-skinned, red hair pulled back. She's got a sort of a robe over this sort of like red leather kind of sort of dress robe type situation, but she's holding a staff, and you would recognize this as Sidira, sitting on there, one of the seats of the council, and there's an empty council seat on the far left. So only 4 of the 5 members of the council are in session tonight. As the procession opens up, Jeremy, you're led in front of the throne. You're about 7 steps away from the council, flanked by Templars on all sides, carrying their packed blades.
I changed into my Templar uniform.
Your Templar uniform?
Yeah.
Okay. As you stride forward, you are announced, we have Lord Brocknar, Templar of Andropinus of the city of Balak, coming as a representative of the city.
I'll get close and I'll kind of do like a little bow.
Demand they surrender.
Demand they pay tribute.
Tithian kind of nods and says, the glory and history of Balak is known to us. We have heard of your exploits against the fire cultists in the past, and against the numerous assassination attempts upon your king. He must be proud of you to call him one of his Templars.
Well, it's the fact that Andropinus is... Oh, God, words hard. I come to you with dire news.
I'm not easy to trust.
Andropinus...
I'm not easy to trust.
Andropinus is working with magic beyond his power, and I fear he will bring ruin upon Athos if he continues his meddling.
Well, just straight up tell him what he's doing.
I really don't remember.
He's trying to become a dragon.
Right. He's trying to become the next Dragon of Atheists or whatever.
Or another one.
Yeah.
Tithian kind of steeples his fingers and leans back in his throne and says, do you have any proof of this? I mean, there's a lot of strife currently in the political climate of Tyr. We are at war with the city-state of Uruk. The line of Uruk is at our gates. The noble Crimson Legion, he gestures to Rikus next to him, is about ready to go out to war against the enemies of Tyr for the free people. We can't split our forces. Do you have any proof of this corruption?
Yes. You helped them do it.
Prana kind of chirps up the male and goes, do the thingy. That'll convince him.
You guys are like in the antechamber, and you can see Jeremy and hear what he's saying, and he's just kind of standing there like,
I'll kind of chime in and be like, I actually have the proof. If I could be bothered to approach.
I'll ask Tithian if I can bring in my compatriots to help explain.
he gestures.
Sure, why not?
The farmer's like, what the fuck? How's this square? That's
This was like, no, I'll go, and then we go. We're 2 now. We're 2. They're not kidding. It's like, okay. All right, Marjorie, I'll listen this time. As you're brought forth, Rikus kind of stands, nods, Malagaz, of course, Ragnar, Kiliani.
Yeah.
He kind of looks.
Maybe.
Did you grow younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying a new lotion.
All right. Well, you said you have proof of this corruption. The king wishes to hear it, and I wish to hear it as well. Speak your piece.
For the record, I would have stayed in line at third, even if I was invited to pull. Because I feel like my stuff is separate. from this. So
Okay.
You're like, sorry, I know it's confusing. I'm with them, but I have a separate
I have a separate thing going on. I'll just stay in line, let this guy.
I'll let Fervor Jenkins go, and then I'll take my turn.
The zoning laws in this state are way out of date.
I know, I'm just getting like Parks and Rec flashbacks of fucking Patton Oswalt, like with his like Boba Fett coming out of the sand, like pan down to
Man
the
down from the twin fountains
of
directly through
Tatooine.
Jabba's barge.
It's the lone Mandalorian gauntlet.
Burst from the sand.
The fact
They credited him in the credits.
They did.
there.
that
I didn't know
that whole thing was improvised by Patton.
I believe it.
They're like, we need you to filibuster. He was like, I got it.
I got it. Alright, anyway.
I'd say that the easiest evidence is to just show you. And so I will offer them both a hand if they wish to see the reenactment of events that transpired.
You are allowed to approach the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Rickus is the first to take your hand. You hear one of the heads whisper, "He may be a charlatan, my lord." And the other head whisper, "The Dragonborn have their own agendas. We might not be able to be trusted."
Yeah, no.
Tithian kind of waves
not to
out.
be trusted.
He says, "I will hear out the lord from Bellic." He's in his hand.
And I'll show them the, I guess the book that we gave them.
Okay.
Book. Basically everything he had us, not everything he had us go do, but he sent us to go find it. We returned with it, and now he's wanting, everything with the other sorceress that transpired in the attack, the fight and whatnot.
Okay.
And now kind of where things are.
Okay. As the vision goes down, Rickus is kind of like looking aside. You see him immediately go talk to Neva, start to discuss something. Sidira is kind of like leaning forward, like looking kind of pensively at the both of you, and King Tithian kind of reclines back. He says, "Well, this would be a problem. However, like I said, my people are at war. Our resources are spread thin. What would you have me do?"
I'll kind of take a step back since Mr. Talking Man's doing the talking here.
His eyes are darting around the room in
Say,
panic.
this was your idea.
He turns around and looks back at the gate like.
I think the best course of action would be to gather up the other sorcerer kings and form an alliance. Set aside your differences, the greater good, whatnot.
We gather up all the sorcerer kings and we move them over here.
All the way to another plane of existence.
I take another step back and said, I didn't know that's what he was getting at.
Titian sort of says, with the current political climate being as it is, I find an alliance of the Sorcerer Kings very doubtful. I, however, can extend some aid in a way. He kind of gestures to one of the Templars and pulls him over here to whisper something.
Bring in the doomsday device.
The big shiny red button.
Give me the thing longer.
And you see a couple of Templars walk forward, and they sort of bow and talk to him and turn back to you. We would be willing to send a couple of our agents to Balak, yes, as a sort of envoy that could perhaps discuss with King Andropinus perhaps the option of not pursuing this
Hey, buddy, how about you don't?
Essentially, he's willing to engage in like a diplomatic talk with Andropinus to see if maybe he can at least like get him to like consider his options.
I fear he's too far gone beyond diplomacy. I think action needs to be taken.
With that, Tithian starts to say something, and Rikus cuts him off. And Rikus says, "I can't promise you the Crimson Legion. I have a war of my own to fight. However, I do know some agents that could help you out. I have various mercenary bands I have met in my journeys across Athos. If you wish, I can contact them and have them maybe come to work with you, and I would pay for them." So essentially what he's willing to do is, instead of maybe engaging in an espionage action for your intrigue, he is willing to provide you with another couple of bits of operations. Put you to a +3.
I can get jiggy with that.
Okay.
Can do that.
He knows. He's going to give you the... He'll send out these two men and they'll say, I will tell them to report to Balak. I'll tell these mercenaries to report to Balak and not to report to the Sorcerer King, to report to your headquarters. That being said, Tithian kind of is like staring daggers at him for like kind of usurping this like this order of the council, but he's just, you see him sort of like, and the matter is settled. Is there anything else that you wish to petition me for?
I'll bow and walk out.
Go in peace. 20 minutes go by. Farmer's Lane is being attacked by Hankhags. The city council has granted him a leave to give him some money to hire some mercenaries to figure it out. Obviously, some adventurers of some lower level will go ahead and handle this.
Another adventure in
Not the Crimson Legion. They are busy with the war upcoming.
War were declared.
War were declared.
Send me the Navy SEALs to go take her some rats.
About 20 minutes pass. They leave, and you were presented.
I assume I have like some sort of.
What is the fanciest that you like? I'm assuming that you know you're going to a court of.
I'm also
He's
thinking.
the least smelly of tunics.
He just licks his hand and pulls his hair back.
He's like staring into a very shiny vase at the entrance.
I mean, the fanciest thing I have is probably my studded leather armor and my normal stuff. But I would assume I have some sort of like hood or veil to like cover up my face with the sand when out in the desert or anything, right?
Fashion one.
Okay.
Like yes.
I assume it's something I normally have, but I want that on when I enter in.
Okay.
And then I'll take it off. Sorry, the
So this is a wrestler's entrance. You
I was thinking more of a buglers like, hey, can you play the song when I walk in?
When he walks in, I'll start shooting. I'll shoot firebolt like fireworks. Boom!
One of us is going for action. One of us is going for sexy.
Why not both?
Sexy action.
No, I'll just like unwrap it like I had been outside. Sorry, the sand burns, but the veil remains tight. Wouldn't you say, Sierra?
Yes.
The
veil can remain quite tight, especially in desperate times.
Nothing too extravagant or any issue. I'm just here to deliver something for you.
After session is over, meet me in the gardens. We will have a small gathering afterwards, and I believe we can take care of some business at that time. The whole council's like looking at the both of you like, what the fuck is going on? And then Tithian just like waves it off like, do you have any further petitions for the king at this time?
Picture.
I do not. Thank you for your time.
Then your greeting is welcomed. Welcome to the city, and please join us after the council meeting for some light refreshments.
Skittles.
Punch and pie.
Punch and pie.
I just picture the gif of Princess Bubblegum and the vampire. They're doing like the whole eyebrow thing back and forth.
All snappers like, sweet food.
Afterwards, you guys are stick around kind of in the antechamber area of the Golden Tower. A few people come in, more nobles. Some adventurers come in looking for like petition for a quest. The crown grants them petition, and they are sent off with some magical, not magical, but better weaponry or whatever.
Much better. These scrubs.
Adventuring guilds. After the 10th group wraps up, it's been about 2 hours. It's about 9 p.m. The doors kind of open. They say the council is going to excuse themselves for a few moments. If you'd like to join us in the gardens, there'll be some drinks, and we will, love to entertain you for the evening. About another 20 minutes go by, you're ushered into the gardens. You see these paper lanterns kind of hung on the various mangrove trees, very like apples, pears, other non-traditional Athasian fruit, kind of growing in these thick boughs, these trees. As the paper lanterns kind of give the night this sort of candlelight glow, you are welcomed into this sort of stone menagerie. There is these rare birds in these exotic cages, kind of like sitting on these large enclosures that are singing these songs that you've never seen these birds before, even in your travels in the forest and in the desert. But they're
taking notes.
Multicolored, beautiful, like large parrots, but like maybe 3 to 4 feet tall, sitting on these large perches, singing these songs.
How tall are these apple trees?
About 10 feet, 15 feet.
Beretta's just scrambling notes down on all these animals.
And Snafu was probably like
Run into that.
trying to hold back on climbing a tree to grab an apple.
Well, there's bowls of them sitting out on these tables.
He probably doesn't notice the bowls for a second. Apples. I can just picture you like over there on the table.
There's a punch bowl brought out with there's a few bottles of wine set aside. And there's some
punch and pie.
Punch and pie.
Apple pie.
All I picture is like Snafu picks up an apple, kind of rubs it on his shirt, and like dunks it. Haven't had an apple in forever.
But yeah, the food is refreshing. Sidira, the councilwoman, kind of approaches and says, was mighty bold of you to do our greeting in the main hall, but I'm glad I got the message. You must be the one that Meech sent.
Yes, I'm not familiar with procedure, I guess.
How is the old weirdo these days?
Still good.
Does he still have that weird basement full of mushrooms?
Yeah.
I told him it's gonna start a fungal infection that he is not going to be able to clear up.
We cleaned up some stuff for him.
Arm and hammer.
I got a bag full of mushrooms. Did you want them?
No, I want to see what you're delivering.
And dig through, and I pull out the Templar spellbook.
She kind of waves you kind of into the corner, and has you like turn around. Put a cloak out. Put a cloak out.
I'm half your sight. What do you want?
Beretta will turn and kind of
Thank you.
puff out a little bit.
And you see her kind of put a hand over the side railing into the garden, and the sort of kind of like in the Final Fantasy side, like the life stream, kind of like those little green bits of energy. She pulls some out, but she doesn't pull. You don't see the plants wither or die. She just pulls enough out. It kind of forms into a ball and thrusts this hand onto the scroll that you had, and you see this sort of purple cloud of negative sealing magic, sort of like purple smoke, fade away.
Snafu will wave his ass. Oh man, that was a bad one. Sorry.
Do I recognize this sort of magic?
Give me an Arcana test.
Okay.
I hope I wasn't overstepping the bounds or being too obvious with the greeting. What's that ass on you?
21.
You have not witnessed an arcane spellcaster actually cast spells before. You've witnessed warlocks draw power from patrons. You've witnessed your own druidic power pulling from spirits. You're more spirit power-based magic, but the arcane magic of Atheists, when done by a preserver, is pulled from nature itself. But you witnessed not defilement, but preservation. She only pulled just enough to do her dispel magic and cast it.
Paretta's gonna take an interest in that.
It is. She kind of like knows like it's a very long path. There's a lot of people that are gonna want to call you a witch or burn you at some kind of stake for being a defiler.
Peretta, the life-giving green fire, just for an instant.
Like it's stabbed their steak.
Why would you burn a steak?
But it is a path that is available if you are willing to learn. But that's not why I had him bring it. He rolls it open, or she rolls it open and looks at the spell book, and you see inside is a map. Not of Balak, but of an area in the wilderness.
Is it an area I'm familiar with?
Give me a nature check.
Nature.
I loaded with nature, actually.
Let me know if you need to look at my homework.
That's a natural 18. But that'll be a 23.
Oh, that's not.
You see that it's actually a map of the area you were just near. The ruins of Guisnel and Cromlin are marked, the Broken Butte, the Black Spine Mountains, but also along the Beast Barrens, this area in the wasteland is marked the Pristine Tower. And there is a path marked out. It looks like a maze of sorts going through a sort of a rocky bramble patch of both thorns, sharp stones, and various other illustrated hazards. There's a bit like it shows like a large thorn bush, like a human-sized drawing next to it, but the thorns are like the size of like long swords. And next to it, there is an illustration of various creatures that you have never seen before, like a large, almost ape-like humanoid.
How close were we when heading out to Guisnel?
That is there's about 20 miles per square. It's about 100. That would be roughly like 100 miles to the south.
Okay, but I mean, like on our way out, which route did we take?
You went through Nibene
Okay, we went up the north side. Okay.
Yeah, along this trade road here to Cromlin.
Okay.
But she says, "Ooh, okay, good." She rolls up. Thank you. That is exactly what I asked me to procure for me. Now, as for your payment, you don't look like the sort that could use money. And you don't look like the sort that could use any sort of art or weapons.
Just dips in the apple.
How about this? I appreciate you giving me this information. This could lead to a great advancement in both my power and the power of the Council of Free City.
It's a lot of ways away from here.
We are, but I mean, Aegis, my friend Aegis Vasticles, one of the council members, is out looking for his own. He's on his own quest to find a psionic artifact of some sort into the islands of the west. I am also on my own quest to procure a greater magical power. You've given me quite an aid in that quest.
We'd have known we were in Guisnel not too long ago.
Well, I would have had to be the person to go there. You see, the Pristine Tower was once an ancient age tower, one of the only ones to survive the cataclysm of the Cleansing Wars. It is said that a secret of infinite spellcasting lies within. But the Bramble Patch and all the lands surrounding it are cursed by the wizards of the Sorcerer Kings as they left the land, could not destroy the tower, but they blighted the land that surrounded it. It is said that any person who suffers a wound in the blighted areas around the Pristine Tower will form into a monster, a mutant. She gestures to the creatures that have been illustrated. The man with long ape-like arms and large teeth kind of protruding out like a half boar, half ape, half man. A lizard creature that was, you could tell was once a person, but it's kind of like a long-necked, now almost serpentine, snake-like person.
Is there a man bear pig?
There is a man-bear pig. I told
It's
you
done.
it was real.
We're all dead. We're all dead. We might as well just rip up our character sheets right now.
This path was traced out by certain people in Balak a long time ago when they were looking for ways to defeat Inix. But they gave up. So now at least know where not to go. This could be a nice head start. But this is the only thing I'll have to be going on my own. I doubt the council will allow me to go with any resources of the city.
Probably wouldn't want you to go at all, I guess.
Probably not. But I can give you some aid. Now, what you were saying earlier, you have a quest that you're going against your sorcerer king, trying to turn himself into a dragon.
It's not really our sorcerer king. I'm actually from the AWOL tribe across the mountains.
Oh. Okay. Well.
But I am involved.
Okay. Well, I was to say.
All is one is all. Snafu.
I can provide you a bit of aid. I can send some extra wizards of the Alliance. If there's a chance, are they looking to bring down? She lives around. Are looking to bring down her sorcerer king?
I'm looking to help preserve the forests, and most sorcerer kings aren't going to help preserve the forests.
I agree.
They are enemies of the planet itself.
They are. Well, I can send a cadre of wizards to Meech's sanctum, and it can help you combat this threat. I know quite a few through the Alliance. I have come into far more contacts now that I'm in the Council, and I can extend those resources to you as well. Would that be sufficient payment for your delivery?
Yeah, I would think so. I wasn't really just. I don't remember him saying I was going to get payment anyway. I was heading up here.
Well, we'll call it even. And I'll give you a tip. And she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a jar. In the jar is a wasp, a green wasp. She kind of hands it to you.
I'm supposed to eat this, or is this like make some sort of honey that I can eat?
If you're ever in a bind and you need a little extra oomph, have that thing sting you. It's crack. It's a consumable. It's going to count as a potion. And until you identify it, it's going to remain a mystery. So. She pats you on the head. She extends a hand to you, Byrona.
She'll also extend.
Do you grasp?
I'm assuming she's.
Do you grasp?
Yeah, I'm assuming she's.
It's like, does Byrona
saying
wash
goodbye.
hands?
Yeah.
Then she just like, takes it and shakes your hand. Says,
She kind of draws her in close. When are you making your travel to these blighted lands?
probably in the next few days.
Hmm.
Meech told me my delivery boy was coming. I didn't know he was going to be that small.
So, out of character, I want to make a kind gesture, but I don't know exactly how I would do it. Like, amongst the whole kind of dealing with the whole life, like, I kind of want to offer her, like, I could teach you something small to take with you, sort of deal.
Give me a nature test.
Okay, I was going to say, is there something I could do kind of as a gesture of goodwill? Nat 18, you said nature?
Mm-hmm.
Nat 18 with a 7 kicker.
You teach her how to make, like you're the alchemist of the Alliance, you teach her how to make a basic potion out of just materials that she didn't know before.
Okay.
And she writes it down real quick, she pulls out like a scroll, jots it down.
As you're able to coax life out of nature and use it as your will, I understand that very well, but as long as you're giving back as well, you should be able to use these materials and do something similar, but for your own form.
Thank you. Go ahead and getting a point of inspiration.
Bluetooth.
There hasn't been any news from the halfling side of things on the other side of the mountains, is there?
Well, don't tell anybody, but Nock is looking for us because we want to keep the spear, and he wants it back. And we have kind of had to avoid some halfling assassins in the past few weeks.
Assassins, you say?
Oh yeah, he wants that spear back. And we're going to give it to him eventually, but it's a powerful item, and it could help us even against maybe other threats. And she kind of like side-eyes Tithian, in case they get a little bit too unruly. It's just something that the council, as a maybe not entire whole, would like to keep in our possession. Other than that, I have not heard from anything from the halfling tribe to the jungle to the north.
Well,
Aren't you looking for Nook?
we are. What if we were to fashion a decoy and spread the rumor that we have this gear? That would draw Nock's attention and take the heat off them. She's musing this aloud.
I mean, I wouldn't ask you to do that because Nox assassins mean business.
And
But if you'd like to, I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
I'm basically trained as an assassin as well, as you know. I don't want to deal with me.
You're not actually a rogue, right? Or are you?
I
You're
have
a
3 levels of rogue.
So you'd have Thieves' Cant then.
Yeah.
What if you use Thieves' Cant to basically say we're willing to talk? Not get us killed, but taken to Nock or Nock brought to us.
As you kind of are musing that, she kind of bows out
Yeah.
and rejoins the party.
Mull it over. And she's just suggesting,
Jesse,
throwing ideas out there. So.
as you're kind of walking around this sort of, garden party, picking some of the nicer items, you see King Tithian actually approach you.
Here we go, kid.
Pardon me, Lord Anatar, I was told by my people. I would assume you would have said your name was Anatar to the nobility of Tyr when they introduced you. Like, who am I announcing?
Yes.
It's good to meet a fellow noble, especially one from another city. I had a small favor to extend to you, possibly. Favor of your king is not one to be lightly ignored.
If you're looking for Nook,
This evidence
I say
I was shown, this ability to become a dragon of sorts.
We have to make him an
Is this
offer
something
he's
you could
very
read?
interested in.
Given the right materials, I believe so.
If you were to provide me with the information in question, I would see you seated upon the throne of Balak, as its new sorcery, in a grand alliance with you. But
you're rubbing his power bone.
I want that information. The path to power is a long one, Master Anatar. And we both know that shortcuts can be helpful.
True. Something stupid, no doubt. Yes.
Simply deliver, whenever you may, this information to me or one of my servants, one of my agents here at Tyr. Any of the temple should do this, and can I clasp my shoulder? And I'll see you well.
Tiffany, I'm getting a little corrupted over there.
One condition.
What condition, may you ask?
I must be the one that performs it on you.
Are you gonna do what I think you're gonna do?
Let's see about that. Let's first prove to me you can be trusted. Give me the information. Claps on the shoulder. Lost.
You're gonna do what I think you're gonna do.
Mountains.
No, I know what you're gonna do.
You think I'm gonna do it on myself?
No.
As you are kind of walking around this party, both Rikus and Neva kind of walk up to you and kind of like clink glasses with you. Kind of spill half your wine. It's good to see you once again. Last we met, you were on the path of some man who turned into a cyclone. How did that whole affair?
He moves by like a cyclone.
Wasn't he the one who used it so much he turned to stone?
Yeah.
Right? He lost control of it.
Yep.
We'll say, well, fortunately, he overexerted the power of the crown that was giving him powers, and he turned to stone for his folly. Now, unfortunately, the crown is in the vaults of Andrew Pines.
Well, I know something about the power of crowns and what they can do to you. They both kind of look at Titian as he's talking to Jesse. And he says, well, I ask because the Crimson Legion is going to be leading itself into Uruk territory very soon. We have a lot of ground to cover. I have 3,000 men at my command that are going to try to cut off the main trade road between Uruk and the lands of Layla Way and the lands of Nibene. And you're looking for Dragonborn, you said?
Yep.
I happen to have a few Dragonborn men in my Crimson Legion. A company of about 20. They're a former tribe, the Weatherwings. They stick together like brothers. I don't know if I could get one of them to leave, but if the whole pack wanted to go, they might be willing. But I would need a favor in return. This whole business with freedom is getting out of control. My men cannot get them. We are using 20-year-old stone weapons on the field. All of our forges are at maximum, trying to crank out new weapons for the Legion. Titian insisted that his Templars get first pick of the new weaponry. I see what he means. The easiest way to get our forces in the city back up is to rebuild the forces of the Templars with some people we can trust. I get that. But the Crimson Legion is going to suffer for it. I need you to make sure when you go to freedom that whatever powers are making the mines shut down, I need them all gone.
What's the situation with the mines?
This cult, it's called the Eye, has moved in. Apparently, they say that they have connection to some greater being. That the leader, Calix, can perform miracles, can heal, can bestow power upon his followers. I'm not sure if he's a sorcerer king. I'm not sure if he's just a crazed defiler out in the desert. But people are listening to him. 3 of the Elemental's tribes are out there following his orders like they're dogs. The fire cultists, the earth cultists, and the wind tribes. Now, I'm not sure what's going on, but they all keep raiding each other's lands, making all this chaos, ripping up the towns, trying to find these weapons of power. I need you to either destroy them, or secure them, or whatever. But these cults gotta go.
Well, I think
will tell the Weatherwings that there is a man that wishes to speak to them tomorrow. And we will see if they would like to go, maybe join your people or not. 20 blades can be replaced. I can get new trainees. But I'd much rather that they be armed with good weapons from freedom than the stone crap that have to happen waving on the field right now.
Understandable.
I knew you would. I knew you'd understand. Kind of claps you on the shoulder, bows. Says, well, I've got more food to go eat, more drinks to imbibe, and regiment to train in the morning.
Fair enough.
Raises the glass.
I did have a question for you, actually.
Yes.
I'll just say, off the record, between friends, what is it like serving under Killian instead of like an actual sorcerer king?
Tithian?
Or Tithian,
He's always been a rat-faced bastard. He always respects power before anything else. Dealing with him on the council has been difficult. But he sees that we have a movement in our hands, and that he doesn't have the power yet to stop it. I wouldn't trust Tithian as far as I can throw him in. I let him know this to his face multiple times. But he's got the two, Sasha and Lion. He's got the counselors of the former King Kalik teaching him sorcery, harnesses magic. He's empowered a legion of Templars, maybe not to the power of other sorcerer kings, but they wield pack blades and they have power. Honestly, it's like working with a powder keg. I'm not sure when it's going to explode, but one thing to set it off, and we're not sure what it is.
Well, I guess I would hate to see Tyr fall back into old ways. So I'll say that, if that day ever does come and he needs some help, just to let me and Marauders know, and we'll be happy to assist him.
I'll shoot you a line. And then Jeremy. The Templar that you were talking to is also at this gathering, walks up, and kind of says, I wasn't really sure what your petition was going to be about, and had I known it was to start a war with Balak, I don't know if I would have brought you up front.
I don't want to start a war. I just want to prevent the downfall of Athos.
I mean, so do we. But we just have different ways of doing it, I guess. Anyway, I thought you should know that the agents that we're sending should be within your control very soon. And I was speaking to Rikus, and he told me that they were inspired by the fall of our Sorcerer King. And so if you need them to help you battle whatever forces they have to, they should be with them. What brings you out this way? Just to talk to us?
I have personal business, and this was just a little detour around the way.
Well, from one Templar to another, let me maybe extend a hand. And hold out his hand for a handshake.
I'll show you.
When you touch hands, you can feel this sort of power welling up in his hand. You get this feeling. He kind of winks at you a little bit, and you notice a psionic connection trying to form. What I'm offering through this man is if you would like to transfer another level of fighter to Warlock, you may. If not, you don't have to. But he's extending that transfer to you if you'd like it. Okay. So you guys, something happens, and we're not sure what the result is, but he nods and walks away. So whether you took it or not, we will decide later. With that, let's take a quick break. I use the bathroom, and then we'll get ready for our next movement on to freedom.
Okay, we're gonna head on a break. We'll be back shortly. fun. Welcome back, everybody.
I'm always still eating.
More Alex Jones.
So then you have a very restful night in Tater. Your forces are able to get themselves situated. Have a nice kind of reprieve from the road. And the next day, your mission is within sight. The town of Freedom, your next goal, lies just a ways away. We're going to do, once again, we're going to consult our travel rules for this journey. So, I'm going to need a guide that's going to make all the decisions concerning the trail, supplies, and the rest. You might have to make a decision coming up here if a thing comes up. That's going to be the most important. So who's going to be our guide?
Because there's, well, I guess remind everybody what the rules are again.
Scout is going to be mostly using stealth rolls and investigation rolls. Not all of them all the time, but it's going to be a lot of stealth stuff. Hunter is going to be a lot more athletics and survival. If you have a opportunity to track down something of worth in an encounter, your hunter will most likely be doing that. Or you also have a lookout. Lookout is going to be basically, if you guys decide to encamp for the night in an encounter, your lookout is most likely going to be the one that prevents you from getting surprise attacked during the evening. So somebody with a high perception or insight might be important in that role.
I'll take that last one. I got +10 to both of those.
Okay, I'm going to be the lookout.
I'll be lookout this time.
Okay.
I have 15 stealth, and that saved us last time, but I also have 12 survival. The stealth one you said also involves what, investigation?
Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
Which my investigation is a daily squad 0.
Alright, I was going to say I have 2 stealth, but I have 9 investigation.
I mean, you can double up. More than one person can be the hunter. One person can be the scout. But just one person can be the guide.
What's that?
Guide, hunter, and lookout. Or no, guide, hunter, and scout.
What stats do they? What's athletics?
Scout, stealth, and perception.
Yeah.
Scout, stealth, investigation.
Yep. Hunter is athletics and survival, and guide is wisdom and survival. Usually wisdom-based abilities.
I'll do hunter now.
Hunter, okay.
I'm not super good at any of those.
You got decent survival checks, you said?
Yeah, survival's alright. My athletics is fucking dope.
Yeah, my athletics is not
Actually, I have a 6 survival, so I should just be fucking perma hunter.
Okay. I think scout would be more your role, minor.
And that's the one with the stealth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I can. I'm just, the investigation ones concern me, because I
It's not, like I said, it's not all gonna, there's a 1 in 12 chance you might
Right, no, I'm
on
just
this
saying
investigation.
if somebody wants to help out with investigation or
Yeah.
scouting, you know, that's fine.
Because then that leaves what? Other rules? Just guide or?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't mind going guide or assisting. Like I said, I'm not stealthy, but I have investigation.
See, if you two want to scout and if you want to guide,
Yeah, I'll try.
okay, try it out.
I'll hunt while we're out too, no.
Okay. So Jesse, we're gonna be going through some untraveled. There's no trade road that leads to freedom. There's just some terrain here. So it's gonna be
Do we have to go down, like, to the illegal sand wastes? What?
To like the crossroads there, where it splits.
You want to extend the journey out there? I will alter The difficulty?
No, that's why I'm wondering, like, what's our route, like, map-wise? Are we actually, like,
Directly, you can't go over this spot because it's pure mountains. So you can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
Be about 175 miles. There's just a camera for something there.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm sure a pop and all lights go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on timers.
So roughly looking at about 165 miles for the journey. Alright.
I was just curious if those route was. I wasn't looking like alter or anything. I was just personally curious.
Let's see, high or low? Anybody?
So,
Unfortunately, a sandstorm is whipping through the area. It's getting pretty
Oh, is it, Jeremy?
I'll move.
Is it?
I'll move.
It's okay.
I don't know if my sensor do you.
I just let randomness do it. It's all.
Kroger commercial.
Low. Alright. What is your survival like, Jesse?
Puppet things look so creepy.
4. Well, I do
I don't mind
have
songs
advantage
for tracking people.
We just need this, your base survival.
I've come across it on the radio a couple times in the work van.
So. Alright.
Well, it's mostly the mascot, but yeah, it doesn't sound weird.
As you guys set out, you notice that a lot of your supplies are getting kind of old. Actually, before we start off, you guys, it's been 7 days. We have to do an intrigue action. Woo! The war back in Balak is still raging, and the Cold War, I should say, back in Balak, is still raging. We reached the 7th day.
We did the hot wars.
It's like PJs, they're just walking through the blizzard trying to get back to the projects. These cops stop them and they're like, freeze! What the hell you think I'm doing out here?
So, you guys get to make an intrigue action. You guys get to use either your diplomacy to try to maybe get my goalposts out here. Sorry, folks, at home. I just remembered that we had this action coming up.
Intriguing.
Okay. We have espionage, operations, war, and diplomacy. Last time we did an intrigue or an espionage action to insert an agent into the Patrician's Council, giving the party an idea of Enterprise's daily goings on. This week, Enterprise is going to be tightening the fist on any sort of unlawful communications going on in the city. So anybody past curfew going out in town, he is going to attack your guys' resources. He's going to try to crack down on your communications. That's going to be his attack this round. Would you guys like to try to further your espionage, try to get more of an idea of what his action next week is going to be? Or would you guys like to maybe do an operations? Raid a ballot guard post, disabling for battles ahead, or giving an advantage in your next intrigue roll? Would you like to maybe try lore? Test research best ways to assault the palace secretly and give it effectively. We'll give you a bonus to your assault on any future assault on the palace, possibly. Or diplomacy, convince the populace to look the other way at the one's activities, lowering the DC of your next roll by 5.
I think diplomacy. Less marks snarking on us when we're going out past curfew.
It's not bad. I almost think lore might be an interesting one to do too, because if he's tightening security, then we'll just learn about how much tighter it is and how to get around it.
Yeah, but we're also not going to be back for a while, so we still have a chance to get that done.
But that's what I mean, we're studying him while he's heightened. He'll eventually go back down, but when we come back to do our thing, he's going to heighten it again, I'd imagine. But one suggestion out of 2.
I'm just thinking we have time later to just get some research done.
You have 14 weeks. You have quite some time.
So we're just spending. Or do we, ideally, do we want to invest in next week, or do we want to invest overall? That's kind of where I'm seeing it right now. Double down.
You see,
for
if
next
you do
week.
diplomacy this week to lower your next DC by 5, it'll be easier next week to figure out what his lower defenses are going to be.
Yeah, that could be the move to make too.
Of course, the other one gives advantage. To, was that something with the,
Your operations will give advantage to your next entry roll if you do the operations.
which isn't a bad option either.
Operations to entry for 2 week operation.
If it gives you any sort of hint, your 2 strongest are operations and espionage, both have a +3.
What's our diplomacy at?
Diplomacy is at a meager +2.
It's only one less than the operations.
Yeah. Also, you realize that maybe if you free the Freedom Region from the tyranny of what's going on here, you might increase your domain by 1, granting you a power die increase in the future. That'll be a thing. Your power die is a thing that'll come into play later. So.
Now, is this choosing what action we do, or is this increasing that skill?
This is choosing what action you do.
Yeah, I'm either.
Some of these end goalposts that you're working towards are going to be like significant gains for the Alliance in the coming battles ahead.
I think either the intrigue or the diplomacy would be good to set up for the lore. Because yeah, I think the lore is good too overall.
Lore is going to be knowledge by your opponent, and knowledge by your opponent is always going to be useful.
Yeah. So I think doing either one to make that check even easier would be good.
Yeah, it would make it easier if we kind of guarantee that we get good information on the one check.
So do you want to do espionage, or no, excuse me, do you want to do operations to give yourself advantage, or do you want to do diplomacy to give yourself lower DC?
I think our operations is the highest of the 2.
Yeah.
Operations is your higher one.
So that's my vote is to do operations.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay. Somebody roll me a d20.
Jared.
Alright, big boy. That's just a 3.
That's a failure. Oh no. Do you have any luck points at all?
No, I do, actually. From Gloam still.
Say, I will. Anything that allows a reroll of d20,
I will,
I'll accept as
I
currency.
will absolutely take you up on that. That is way better. That's a 17. Thank you for that offer of luck. I did have
That's going to be the goalpost.
I did have it banked.
What's going to be your operations?
Yes.
As we got back to Balak, you see the sort of routine, like sending more guards and more Templars out into the night, like rounding people up, innocent or guilty, if he thinks that they're conspiring against him. But you also see while these guards are out, some of your soldiers like burning down guard posts, like assassinating guards, carrying out like a shadow war almost against the enterprise. Hence, your next, he's going to be so busy trying to put out that fire, that political and social fire, that he's going to be distracted. You're going to get -5 difficulty on your next check.
I thought we were going for the advantage.
Or advantage, excuse me, advantage.
We know
what the other one
So yes, and that was your intrigue action for week 2.
Rolled that 3 with the big die, rolled a nat 20 with the little. Guess I know where I'm going tonight.
Someone's asking me spec. What are the specs?
10700K.
Okay, so
Enough.
3070, 32 gigs of RAM.
as I was saying before, as you guys start off, you notice that a lot of your provisions are either rotted, or otherwise eaten by like bugs and whatnot. So you replace your supplies. You're not going to take a hit to your daily provisions. They just kind of suck. So hence, for the skill rolls and these encounters coming up, you're going to be at -1. So every time you roll a skill, it's just going to have a -1 penalty. Alright. What's everybody's average proficiency bonus?
That's 5.
5.
I should double 5. Get it was normal.
Alright. 175 is going to be medium journey, so it'll be 22 plus 1 encounters. So we need 3 encounters. Alright. So your first day out, you have kind of a meager meal. Just some, nothing fancy, but nothing good. But as you guys are traveling, you see, kind of off in the distance, as you guys are moving, let's say like a third of the way there, you're Kled, you see a group of very tasty, very plump golden Inex. You know, we're like living up on the mountain range, that golden Inex, instead of like the usual green and orange Inex, are particularly tasty. They are a little bit more fat, so their meat's a little more marbled, and they have like a less gamey flavor. The hunter of the group, if you would like, could try to get this, and that will wipe away your -1.
Oh yeah. Survival?
You can make a survival test.
Nine.
9.
9.
As you were trying, you sneak up behind one with your giant hammer, and just all day you see Rockner out there trying to club these Inex. You're like doing your lookout or your scouting. You're just like
I am just
just fucking appalled.
writhing in agony over here.
Just hear you screaming.
What was the first day?
My damages!
Okay. Or the first encounter. Let's say it was day 1. Your second encounter. As you guys are getting closer, you pass this echoless caverns, and you notice that the caverns themselves are home to a band of brigands and thieves, preying upon a lot of the people here on Athos.
Like a punk band, or
If you want, you can make your way through this dangerous place and try to take them out. This is going to be a roll for the scout.
Scoot.
You will make an investigation test, and I will consult the table below.
Scoot in the boot.
I got my good boots on. For the scooting. 21 or 22.
22. As you fight your way through this group of raiders, easily dispatching most of them, you notice that they have a treasure trove of various items in the back of the cave. After you kill the leader, a large giant known as Skull Splitter is a very common name. It's like Tom out here in the wasteland. His name is Pelvis Crusher.
Skullbender.
You fight Pelvis Crusher the Giant, slaying him.
Well, I don't see it.
Each PC, you death by Snoo Snoo. Each PC is going to gain 1 inspiration, and you will find 1 magic item, which I'll roll when we get to do. That's day 2. Good die. Good die. Last one. As you guys are approaching the last bit of freedom here, you're actually at the plains now. You see a caravan of dwarven miners hauling a meager supply of ore and stone, workable stone. You also see a group of nomads with giant inflated balloons of like animal hide and like leathery, like lizard hide, like kind of flying on the air, like chucking spears at them and basically assaulting this caravan for their supplies. These could be a group of wind nomads you've heard about in these struggles up here in the Freedom region.
Well, at least they're happy. Nomads.
First, I'm going to ask the party. This is going to be a question for the guide, but you get the final say, but it's a group decision. Do you wish to help?
I mean, the wind nomads are basically wind cultists, aren't they?
Yes.
Those seem pretty bad.
Wind cultists.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when cultists, in the terms of propaganda from like the Sorcerer Kings, or are they just in general known to be?
They worship Yansi Ben,
Okay.
the primordial Lord of Wind. They crave freedom from the Pole of Atheists. They wish to fly upon the eternal skies in the sky realm of Yansi Ben. They utilize warlock pacts from him to power themselves. Some of them will be more roguish or like maybe rangerish in style of fighting. They use a lot of flying animals. Like you can see some of those crocodile, those flying things that was the ones that picked you up in razor wings from the city of Weesnall. You see a couple of them with like collars, like flying around.
And how about the dwarves? What's their gig?
About 5 or 6 medium build, not like super like stocky warriors, but they're like day labor build. They just got spears and a couple of like bone axes, like caracals, like.
So they're just like any other general proletariat race.
Yeah.
They're not like a cult or
No.
necessarily out to do.
You know,
See them wearing like black cloth aprons and like some headbands.
I'm feeling kind of jaded today. I'm like, let's just let him duke it out. Take care of what's left.
We got one from Rocknar, let him be.
I was given a name. Wind Elementals.
Mad Mutterings of Kiliani. Wind cultist name.
They're all a bunch of wind batters.
Shubar is the name of the temple that is
Oh, yeah.
the
Elder Elemental. Yeah. Vanithir.
Venifer is the fire leader. Leader of the fire call.
No.
I don't think you do either.
No, but there was just possible alliance with them. So what are they doing? They're attacking us.
They're making passes at this caravan.
Loretta's kind of neutral. She thinks the whole concept of the wind cultists is pretty alien, but she wouldn't think that Athos would lose anything by losing them.
The cultists are attacking the doors?
Yes.
Fuck them guys, I don't want to fight.
I'm surprised that you were like,
I thought it was the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah, Paretta's like, it'd be no real loss if they were to go away, so.
You're saying fuck the dwarves?
No, fuck the white clothes.
So you want to fight them? Okay.
Reversing.
I'm playing both guys, so I'll wait until on top.
I'm willing to fight too.
Okay. Each member of this party is going to pick a skill from this list.
You're better at fighting them than my next.
Survival, insight, persuasion, animal handling, medicine, or nature.
Persuasion.
Okay.
I'm a plus 11.
My highest to that is survival to 6.
Okay.
Run me through the list one more time, please. I'm sorry.
Survival, insight, persuasion, animal handling, medicine, or nature.
I'll do the survival.
Okay.
Nobody's jumped on that.
I mean, I got plus 12 in survival.
Okay.
All the rest of those, I got
Survival?
You said survival?
Yeah.
Was medicine amongst that?
Yes.
Do you have to
I'll take
pick
medicine.
it once, or do we get to pick the same skill twice?
You can pick the same skill if you want. It's fine.
Okay.
It's just giving you a wider array of options of what you would like to use.
I'll do medicine instead. I get the same bonus in there,
Okay.
so.
Micah?
I guess I'll do persuasion too, because yeah, I'm not trained in.
Okay. You guys roll over these wind calls just like they're nothing. You pop their fucking balloons that they use to keep doing these like super high jumps in the air. They come crashing down. You beat the shit out of them. Do you let them live or do you take them out?
I'll follow these guys' lead, but Perez, again, no huge loss, whatever. Merciful or lethal, boys?
Where are we at in the waste?
Right outside of you.
You know there might be a reward for them.
There might be.
Sure, take a
If they're
prisoner.
attacking anybody, yeah.
Sure, take a prisoner tournament for a reward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, you take a prisoner time up. Now everybody make your skill test. You're going to try to help these people that were just attacked so they don't die.
Huzzah!
Woo!
11.
That's one fail. Whatever skill you chose.
I'll reroll mine.
Dirty 20.
Pass. You get it?
18.
Pass.
26.
Pass.
27.
Pass. After we're passed, then the obstacle is cleared and... Okay, yeah. You don't suffer a penalty for this one. You guys will have the prisoners of the air cultists in your swag.
Can we, like, pilfer any, rations that these wind cultists would have on them? Do we loot them?
I'll say they just have like a day's worth of rations because they're not too far from their base of operations.
That D20 light, that's pretty freaking legit. I keep looking over it every now and again.
So is it
A flyer, it'll work with them trying to roll
this is all out here like
Special
Yep. Now I didn't copy down the last bit for this arrival roll, so we're gonna help this up real quick. You guys did not suffer any penalties. You made it through some moderate terrain, so there's no negative here. Alright, Jesse, go ahead and roll me D8. Okay, ouch. Everybody give me a wisdom saving throw.
Dicks.
Woo! Ass.
Of course,
That's the thing I do. Yeah. 18.
Made it.
Wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom saving throw, yes.
Okay.
19.
Got it.
23.
Got it.
17.
Did not get it.
6.
You both get a point of exhaustion. As the journey itself was fine, but not auspiciously enough started, that one kind of fucked you over.
It kind of fucked them over.
But yeah.
Team effort, Jesse.
Those prisoners you guys
Team
got,
effort.
shut up. You guys got no sleep.
Team effort for early and good gathering food.
I don't need it.
Actually, this I think is fine. It's fine. You guys arrive in the Freedom region. not too far away from Tyr, but far enough away, about 165 miles to still be out there beyond their patrol region. As you guys cross into the Badlands past here, you kind of pass through this bit of forest into the town of Freedom itself. It's kind of a long, like, rolling community built on this, like, sort of series of jagged hills and caves. And you can see that the mining community set up here in Freedom is definitely entrenched in this area due to the high amount. You see, like, at easily 12 mine shaft openings, like, around the city itself. Various carts being pulled in and out of these with bits of ore. But not every mining operation is being, like, in use right now. As you guys arrive, you find that there are a lot of, like, obvious signs of attacks. Like, there's a burned corpse, like just a skeletal corpse outside the city, and some burn marks that lead kind of off into the mountains to the side. You find, as you kind of wander in, a lot of faces kind of like eyeing you suspiciously. Now that they see that, like, they see both the Dune Vipers and you and your a little bit more normal regalia. The sight of adventurers is kind of welcome here in the city itself. As you cross into Freedom, you notice a majority of the peoples here are dwarven and human. Who would you like to maybe speak to first? You have a cadre of wind cultists in the hold of the Siegebreaker. It's currently sitting outside of the town. It's kind of your mobile base of operations. The ship is also kind of pulled up alongside. They sort of one another guarding each other as a bit of a caravan. I guess I'll just go one at a time. Jesse, kind of walking through the streets of Freedom here. What would you like to maybe look into first?
Who do I have to talk to for them to demand their surrender?
Who are you demanding surrender from?
You still haven't given my goal for the yours version.
Isn't the eye based out of here?
You don't see any obvious members of the Eye Cult, but you do see it painted on various, like, buildings and, like, alleyways, and it's a very garish looking, just big black and red eye.
But they're supposed to be operating out of here, though, right? Freedom.
Yes. Well, it's nearby. That is something. That is what you can ask if you want to go to the tavern. Maybe ask to see what the situation is here in town.
Okay.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
We're getting pretty close to home, huh?
How close are we to my home? I was wondering how if have I been to Freedom before?
I'd say you at least passed by. There's Hanko Village. It's about 75 miles away.
Okay.
So, not too far. Trail through the mountains, back up to the hunting grounds of the forest ridge. Ogo, where you know Nock is said to live, not too far away from that. But you know once you cross that line in the mountain range into the forest, you are in halfling territory. So,
Good thing we have one of those. Just feed you to them to keep them satisfied.
As you're looking around, Jesse, you see there's a large building. It's kind of a fort. It looks like it was at once like a garrison fort for maybe the slave leaders here. That has become not the palace, but like the main central form of government here in the city. As you're looking around kind of in the city, I'll have to make a map of Freedom, but imagine like a large city in a bowl, kind of like in a strip mining operation, where there's like tiers that go down. You guys are in like the bottom of this tier, and it goes up on the sides of the walls. The palace itself is in the very middle of the depression of the wall, of the big pit that you're in. It's like a large spire that kind of goes up. Made of old stone, rare bits of metal, reworked with wood. And as it gets close, as you get kind of down into the bowl, you notice that a lot of the main areas of town are in the very easily definable center. Like as you go out into like the regions of the rings, that's where kind of you get the houses and like the different mining companies and whatnot. So you guys are kind of entering the main bowl area of the city.
Into the bowls of the city.
Yes.
So, like, who's in charge of the city?
You would imagine whoever is in charge of the city is going to be in that big palace structure in the middle.
We go on that. I would go on there.
You go in there.
My entourage.
Okay, so as you head up there, Jeremy, what would you like to do?
I want to go talk to some dwarves.
Anybody in particular?
Somebody who I could be like, hey, we found these dudes attacking some fellow dwarves of yours. Maybe you can
I'm not very
Do
trustworthy.
you want to look at the mine, like maybe the mining company that they work for? Because they did have like a pickaxe.
Yes,
like a
bad
burner,
news.
Okay, so you'll go talk to them. Pandora and Stanfield, what would you like to do?
I have no business here, really, so. How far are the squares on this particular map?
I'd say like a couple miles.
25.
Okay, so not it. The area itself, you said something about blighted lands down there?
Well, this is the marshes.
Okay.
Area. As you go, this is the trail you guys went to go to Freedom, right here. That attack was like usually like probably like right near the grassland area. As you were kind of traveling by, you did notice some encampments in the distance. You guys don't know exactly where all the things on this map are at this moment, but you did notice some like landmarks. You also did cross the city near the city of Blun, kind of nestled next to the marshlands. It looked dirty, so nobody stopped. But it's not too far away. You could go there in like a day's travel.
Okay, I won't need to go that far. I was just curious.
Guys, we're at the next big arc of adventure. This is the next big adventure. So happy, we're off the road.
I guess I haven't done this in a while. If we're gonna be here for a while doing our chores and stuff, I'd like to do the 8 hours casting plant growth.
Okay. You're in a relatively stripped out area, like a strip mining area. This is like a big dugout.
Yeah.
Where would you like to do this?
I'd like to go somewhere private, so I'm not, witnessed and reported and all that nasty business. But yeah. I'd like to go to the edge of some current growth and kind of extend that outwards, so somewhere strategic.
You can go to like the wood lines, like outside of town, like farther down the trail, and just like I'll be back in a while.
Just kind of park myself up, sort of in the mountain cave area, find somewhere nice and hunkered down.
Okay.
Of course, after we've all agreed to meet back here at this time, sort of plan has been established.
I don't know, it's either find some place to eat or defend Beretta, or just kind of be on watch around Beretta while she does her ritual.
Okay. So just kind of maybe cross town for a little bit, then go join Beretta.
I guess.
You could camp down and practice your recipes or something.
And how about you?
Make some buff recipes.
I'm going to look into the eye a bit more. So that's going to the tavern.
Okay. Jesse.
I just imagine Malachi like that orb from Sauron that they found in Saruman's tower.
Let me see if I have a picture right.
Sauron knows everything Pippin knows. Good news, Pippin doesn't know a goddamn thing.
Luckily, Pippin doesn't know shit.
Fool of a took.
He knows second breakfast and pancakes, I don't know. But he doesn't know anything
Actually,
else.
I think we made Sauron dumber by having him look into Pippin's mind.
Pippin, you used to just stare at this thing for the rest of your life.
Sauron's like, I've been hungry.
Hungry.
I just want to smoke long bottom leaf and get full.
I know I have this.
Comes in pints. Ed and Sauron trying to dance on one of the tables with the Green Dragon.
Sorry, give me one. I want to show you the
He's up there doing a...
picture of this.
Like, I see your toe wiggling out of the corner of my eye. I thought the dog was coming out of the room wagging his tail a little bit. He's got passed out on his bed in the office. You're creepy, dog. He's just laying there like he's sleeping, but his eyes are wide open, staring at me. Of course, eyes in
Gandalf.
Yeah. After a good butt scratching. I thought he was coming out. He gave up partway through.
That's partially it. It's like this sort of symbol in the middle here. It's like a very angular, like reptilian almost eye. It doesn't have the four sub things underneath it, but it's this sort of trapezoidal shape, roughly painted with like this black and red paint.
Top of a graduation cap.
But as you step into the main guardhouse, like kind of past like the main steps, they see. Are you like leading prisoners in? Like what are you doing as you step forward?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have the Wind Cultists kind of at spear point. The Dune Vipers kind of leading them in. You are greeted by a large. Let's see. Okay. You see another large, like jet black skinned Goliath, kind of like behind this like large desk, kind of pointing at various mining shafts and saying, "I need 4 men to go into the shaft. They said there's some Otog down there that are making a mess. This here, I hear there's an Orvain that the dwarves from the Zephyr Company said that they are getting into, but they don't have enough men, and the various other things." And then next to him is like a lithe, sort of like half-elven woman with sort of arcane trappings. She's got like a large robe. She's got like a staff with a crystal kind of like gnarled at the top of it, sitting next to him, kind of like also leaning on the map. She looks and sees you and kind of approaches, and a couple of dwarven guards also approach. And she says, "Well, welcome to the City of Freedom, stranger. I see you brought some friends. What is your name and what brings you here?"
What name are you here to Oh, no, I'll straight up say I'm Kiliani.
Greetings, Master Kiliani. Looks as though you have some prisoners with you here.
Yes, do you speak for this community?
Well, I am part of the Council of Freemen, the Freemen Alliance here. I'm Uvo. And she points to the large black-skinned Goliath, and then it's Obun. Obun. We are both members of the council, but we can speak on behalf of the city.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you're having some trouble with elementalists in this region.
One of the wind cultists in the back says, "Forever shall Yancy Ben's wind blow chaos." The second he opens his mouth, boom! He's out. He's just knocked out of the water. Owen kind of looks up and then like sees you, and like he just drops his punches like kind of nods. Well, anyway, yes, we've been having issues with raiders. They think one of their precious objects is buried in one of the mines down here.
Well, fortunately, I've come to help. Me and my Dune Vipers and Skull Crushers.
Where do you hail from?
We hail from Balak.
You see her kind of turn around and say, Balak? Do we have any people we know in Balak, Ogun? And Ogun kind of goes, I don't think so. Do we know you? Have you been here before?
It's my first time.
Oh, well, we don't know anybody from Balak.
I don't know you, that's my purse.
Wuvo kind of shakes your head, fine. Well, thank you for bringing in these troublemakers. We'll see that they're put to work immediately. They can work off some of their debt. And some of the guards take them, kind of lead them away. See them tied in sort of some rope manacles, if you will. Kind of invite you to the table. You see it's a layout of the surrounding region. It's like this kind of map here, kind of spread out. Underneath is like a smaller map of the city, which I'm going to make for next time. I'll have a map of the city. But he says, well, this is the Freedom region. Welcome to it. Did you have any questions while you're here?
Yes. What sort of raids have you been experiencing?
Well, we've had cultists of all three kinds coming.
3?
Yeah, fire, wind, and earth.
No water?
No, apparently the water tribe keeps themselves here. And he points out, the first B,
Earth, wind, and fire.
earth, wind, and fire.
That's the shit.
Heart! No.
First B, there was a city named by the name of Larch that was before the marshes kind of came back and reclaimed most of the area. Next to Larch, their seat of power was this keep all deep in the woodlands before the swamps took it. We've been calling it Marsh Keep. Far out into the swamplands.
That's what the sea is.
That's what the sea is. Apparently, that's where the water cult is on its way out there. Maybe a half dozen of them under command of a man named Gar or something or other. But he mostly keeps them to himself. Mostly Vanifer. She's been coming through with her band. Apparently, there's supposedly some object of elemental power hidden in the area. She's convinced it's in the mines, just undiscovered.
In these mines?
Yes, somewhere in the mountains around us.
Isn't that what Rikus wanted me to go find or destroy or whatever?
Rikus wanted you to just basically shut down all the cult activity here. Like, this cult of the Elemental Eyes is doing nothing but causing trouble. And you get the, like, as you're kind of like watching this, you're seeing like all the, there's like a bunch of red X marks on like various mine shafts on the map of Freedom. And you can tell like attack, like easily like a dozen. Like some multiple marks on the same shaft.
So, but they never actually attack Freedom itself.
Oh no, they attack the city. They'll blast their way in, conduct a raid of the mine, and then blast their way out. They use fire magic to mostly keep our men at bay. We have no preservers or any druids or anything like that. We just have soldiers.
How many soldiers do you have?
About 300 total.
All here in Freedom or kind of spread out?
Spread around among the region. We've had them, a lot of them kind of in the mine shafts, protecting all the miners we can. There's creatures down there too, so it's not just the raiders.
So, are there any ever like large scale engagements, or are they just mostly like small hit and run guerrilla?
There's been some large scale engagements. Sometimes the two of the cults will clash in our territory, both wanting to attack the same mine shaft for the same object, but usually people get caught in the crossfire. They have these items. They have weapons. The earth cultists have a hammer that can call down rocks and move earth. The Vanifer herself has a large dagger that can command fire. These some kind of primordial artifacts from before the fall of Atheists. We're not sure where they got them, but they must be looking for whatever fourth one they're missing. So,
and do you know anything about the eye?
Only that charlatan Callus claims that he can solve all of our problems if we merely submit the town to him and the cult. He's got about maybe 50, 60 cultists up on the mountain, or in the jungle valley there. They've taken over that Shivarm palace. This year since before we founded the town, but none of us have ventured close. He's neutral to everyone. He says any of the cultists are welcome there, even the citizens should they go to worship at the temple, but you can't cause any trouble. We sent an envoy to maybe talk some sense into him, maybe see if he could talk some sense into others, but never came back.
We'll have no fear.
Kill you?
Right. My force came here to end this conflict you seem to suffer.
It's good to hear. Well, we wish you luck. I have some additional guard placements I have to go over here with Mugo, so if you'll excuse us.
Well, just add, while we're here, should we require reinforcements can count on your support?
Give me a persuasion test.
And I'll throw in inspiration.
Inspiration, okay, go ahead. Reroll that up.
Good.
Advantage.
18.
He kind of nods his head. He said, "You've done us a favor bringing in these wind cultists. I can't promise you an army, but if you need some backup, I can have a few people. Maybe talk to Olam. He's my brother. Lives in town here. Usually at the tavern, halfway through his whatever barrel of drink he's picked today. But he's a dab hand with an axe. Could be good to fight. Tell him his brother Ogun sent him, and put you in good graces. All right, and then he turns back. Well, we have to go to the shaft, and the meeting kind of goes back into session.
I have Morocco with me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna tell her, kind of lean in for her ears only. It's there's what, 5 councilmen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've met 2 of them. We're on our way to meet a 3rd. I want her to pay attention to these people.
He's not a councilman. You didn't get the fact that he's a councilman. He's just a mercenary or a brother that works.
Okay, but the last 2 I talked to her.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to tell her I want you to pay attention to these people and where they frequent.
Okay.
Because should we need to take the town, we have to start from the top down.
Yes. Okay. I got you. Then Varaka just kind
We'll
of.
come to that, but I'm not saying it's going to do that either.
I get you. And Varaka kind of nods and walks out. Just kind of thumbing her axe a little bit.
Put your best people on this.
Loving her.
She's a circle tight.
As you guys walk out, Jeremy, you take a few minutes kind of exploring the outer ring of the town. You are able to find that mining company, the pick with a small canary kind of perched on the end of the pick. As you walk up to the sign, you see a few other dwarves. They're wearing similar kind of headbands and black aprons, just kind of picking through some ore. And what I'm trying to say is, hail, warrior! What brings you to this minefield here? This is where the spelunkers.
I'm just gonna kind of yank. I'm guessing I have all the prisoners on
They took him from you. Do you want to take one, two, or the council took him to the prisons.
Oh.
And Jesse's.
In Jesse's, yeah.
Oh. So I'll just be like,
Do you want to maybe carry one of their sashes as proof or something?
do they have some kind of symbol?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say I've collected these from some wind cultists that were attacking a caravan of yours. Or if I get some compensation for helping protect your product.
Oh, we got word back that they made it to Null in one piece. Thank you. Yes. He kind of walks over and fishes out some stuff. He gives you a big chunk of iron. It's worth about 500 GP.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's put it to good use. Obviously, with it being an adventure out there, make a dagger or something out of it. Just something you can use out there in the field. Is there anything else we can do for you? We greatly appreciate your help.
I just like to think you're actually making that face. Like,
Well, now that you mention it,
I'll meet you at the tavern for drinks later tonight.
wink, wink.
I'll drink y'all under
Sounds
the
good to me.
I don't kiss on the first date.
For sure. All right, go to the table.
No!
I can't drink anybody at the table. I won't fit.
I want to go to you, Hunter. I kind of poke around Freedom. You don't really get a lot of looks. You do see that a few other halflings here, actually. Some of them crude like headbands and mining picks. They've taken kind of like left the nomad life and kind of found their way here. You see a few taverns, a few cook stands.
One of those cook stands.
You walk up and you see that there's a hot stone. It's kind of like with coals underneath, thin shaved bits of meat, and there's like a strange bit of like a pressed dough that they like kind of smooth out into like a flat circle. And they'll take this sort of like stone grilled meat, they'll put it in this sort of like bit of bread. And they'll take like a scoop of this ready sauce and pop it on there and fold it up and they hand it out. Couple ceramic pieces apiece.
Big jump, huh?
Bit, yeah, it's like a shaved flank steak.
Alright. I'll get, how much?
5 GP. A sandwich.
Snafu's visiting the food trucks in Freedom.
Right.
Actually, this is hard times. This would be 5 GP. So people usually, you see that there was a price that said 2, now it's crossed out, and it's 3, and 3 was crossed out, and it's 5.
Supply and demand.
Shoot, I was gonna buy a couple, take one out to you, but you don't eat anymore.
Says who?
What?
Says who?
You don't have to eat anymore, but you can still eat.
Yeah. I don't need to, but I can still enjoy things.
You know what? I'll shoot by 3.
Okay.
Ooh.
2 for me.
Wait a few minutes.
Yeah,
Get some all ready for you.
1 treat.
And you got these big handfuls of this like
45.
flank steak.
No, 15.
Yeah, 15. It's a big flank steak sandwich. Bread's not the best. It's a little rough, but the meat's nice and tender and the sauce is nice and spicy.
The intent is there.
Yeah. The bone is a bun. Right?
You're not here for the
Shit. Bread goes stale in an hour or 2 if enough wind's hitting it, so.
But yeah.
Alright, yeah, I'll grab those and eat one on my way out.
Okay.
Just had 2 for me and I'll take one off the car. I don't mind.
Eat one. It's sufficiently nice. It's got a nice. The meat's nice and well cooked. Not really seasoned that much. That is like the one thing that you did notice, that I didn't really season the meat too much. But the sauce kind of picks up the dead weight of just the seasonless meat. So if you go off into the sauce, it'd probably be super great, but not bad. Go ahead and roll a d10. 10 per HP.
damn good.
Did you buy me a meat pie?
I heard me.
But anyway, as you walk out, you see Pyrrhota kind of like walking further on down the trail.
Yeah, I'll just kind of do my little scouting guard
Okay.
thing.
I'm gonna come back to you too.
What she's doing.
So you're eating your sandwich as you walk off. Micah. You walk in the tavern.
I'm assuming I'm already in the process of doing
Pretty
this.
busy for this time of day. You see a lot of workers in the sort of like low flat building. It's kind of like underground, it's like a dugout, so it's out of the sun. It's nice and cool. It's like 5 degrees cooler down here. But it's an expansive, it's not like a cramped space, it's nice and dark, all deep. You can see that there's a couple of windows at high level that are like the ground outside, like letting in sunlight and light. The smell of cake of Roy kind of hits your nose, and the smell of beer brewed from whatever mushrooms that these people probably find in an old working technique. But the workmen are pretty plentiful here, and off in the corner you can see with a sort of a half and half. He's got like a dark black split of gray skin and black skin, and kind of like a yin-yang shape on his body, like going up and down, up and down. This big giant Goliath with a huge great axe, like 3 cups, 2 plates, piled out with like some food, and he's like hum, 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 and he's just like having a whole feast right there at the bar. Easily like 4 people's worth of food. Just this one dude just taking it down.
Going to town.
But the smaller man, kind of like balding, he's got that like Dr. Wily hair that's kind of splitting out to both sides. Says, "Oh, my name's Ruth. How can I help you?"
His name's Ruth.
Ruth.
The roof is
Yes,
on
my name's
fire.
Ruth.
I'm not there.
You have a problem with my name?
We don't need the water.
Ginsburg.
Let the mother burn.
Bader, actually. That's my wife, Bader.
Bader, probably.
Bring it up to Supreme Court, Jokes.
I said, yes, I was just hoping to get some food and drink. Been on the road all day, so.
Oh, good. Take a seat. So, lunchtime, so plenty of food going on. Well, my wife's making some more stew at the back, some more grilled cake. Take a seat. Sit down, relatively clean spot, and pretty soon another human woman, older, kind of like middish gray hair, crude, sort of like smock and apron. Just sits down. Whatever they have, just one thing for lunch. So she sits down like some broth and like a grilled, like it looks like a turkey leg, but it's obviously like some sort of like lizard, grilled lizard. Sits down. What do we have to drink, Sonny?
Sonny?
What's the house special?
Oh, we got beer. It's a nice big stout, and we got ourselves some Roy, fresh in from Bloom. Brewed out that way.
I guess I'll have the Roy.
Yeah. She comes back, kind of a cidery brown, frothy mug, and sits down right there. That's all you've been eating.
Yeah. I'll send possibly some information if you could be bothered.
Of course.
We're actually at my compatriots and I are on our way from Tyr. We heard that there's a whole bunch of trouble brewing outside in mines and whatnot from rampaging cultists.
Oh yeah, those youngins are frightful when they get into a mood. They tear through the city with whatever elementals and whatever cultists they can find, and if you're on the streets when they're blowing through, then they don't really care whether you're friend or foe.
Do they seem to be working together, the different cultists?
That's the dangerous thing about them. They'll fight each other and they'll fight us at the same time. Law, whatever. The wind folk have their living cyclones and whatever wind magics they can conjure up, blowing away half the buildings that aren't nailed down. Luckily, ours is pretty safe, but not a lot of others can really stand that kind of treatment. The fire cultists will scorch anyone, turn him to ash as soon as look at him. And the stone folk tend to keep to themselves, but when they do come in, the rocks themselves are all around us, turn and rumble instead of sort of landslides coming down.
Is this all because of the eye?
Not too sure about that. I know they're looking for whatever artifact they say is buried here. Supposedly some weapon of great power, who knows.
I'll ask her what she knows about the eye.
Man Collix leads them, says he's a healer of some sort. I heard he's a pretty handsome human. Quite the looker. Usually cult leaders are. But
Aren't they?
his faithful are pretty true to him. Give me a perception test, please.
What dogs have 2 feet on?
That is 21.
Bloody.
You notice a sort of a bluish, indigo-hued tiefling that's been eyeing you since you walked in.
Stay. Stay.
He's like, I'm trying to back it up though, Teddy.
Then come on out. One way or the other. Equal. Oh boy.
Do they have anything on their table, John?
He's got a few empty cups.
Does he have one he's currently drinking?
Same as either.
Okay.
Roy.
Is he literally just sitting there, just like doing this, looking at me?
He's not being obvious about it. He's like sitting at the bar, you look over, and 3 of the 4 times you notice, he's like, you're not gonna look down, because you kind of catch him looking at you right away.
Gotcha.
He's got like a black cloak, some brown leather armor. No insignias.
Okay.
He's got like these fingerless gloves, kind of fancy. They've got like some leather straps, so something is attached to both of his gloves. Not sure what, but they kind of like lead into the sleeves of his tunic. So a little odd, but you're just really curious about you. He's got kind of like Jesse has, the like black hair. It's kind of like short on both sides, but he's got like a swoop that goes over one side.
I'll wait till he's not looking at me, like he's taking the right to look away or something. I'll use object projection.
Okay.
To teleport his drink into my hand as long as I'm within 30 feet of him.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of wait till he notices.
Okay.
I'll just kind of casually be drinking.
You pay it's like 3 gold for the meal, and she walk away, and you wait for a second. And as you kind of like, you see him like looking at the bartender saying something, and he goes to like raise up the glass. And he looks around, and he looks at you, and you. What would you like to do? It appears at your table.
I'll just I was completing the gesture he was trying to do.
Fish that's money. Looks around. Goes to leave.
I'll ask, I'll pay her for the meal, and I'll ask her if he's from around here. The typhoon guy.
Oh, the blue fella. Xerax, yes. He's a day laborer. He showed up about a month ago. It's like okay chap.
Helps out in mines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't do too much work, mostly spends our money gets over here. But whatever he does well. Seems to always have money in his pocket.
One last thing. Could you tell me where I could find a gentleman named Raggist?
Oh, Raggist, yes. Old man, shack, up on the third ring there. He lives between two of the mining camps there. He's got a small hut, kind of built into the side of the mountain there.
Okay. Yeah, his brother told me I should look him up while I got here, so I'll thank her and I'll start heading on my way.
Okay. You head up, and the shack is more or less a door with an awning built into the side of the mountain. Like it's just like you tell the door is just hammered into a rock open, like a cave opening.
They just put the door up.
You just put the door up and like put wood in there and kind of set it in, and then hammer the edges to it.
Speak, friend, and enter. Ooh.
Yeah,
Where's his mustache?
Yeah.
Opens up this bald guy, top knot, but instead of the long beard, he's got like one of those long flowing mustaches.
Fu Manchu, yeah.
What brings you here, strange dragon man?
Dragon
all
Man.
the resemblance is uncanny. It was actually sent by your brother in Tyr to come find you.
Oh, Randolph. Okay.
Rainbow Randolph.
Randy Gast?
Yeah, Randy is.
Well, friend of Randolph's is a friend of mine. Come on in.
You hear that, Randolph?
His last name is Randy.
I'll say, by nature, I'm just curious about magical artifacts and whatnot. Your brother had recommended, since I was heading this direction, to look you up.
As you say that, your voice kind of trails off as you open up, and like the cave that he lives in is like the dingiest shit pile you've ever seen. like if there were like to-go cups, there'd be like everywhere. So he's got
a
like
bunch of like gas station like cups
yeah,
everywhere.
he's got like a bunch of mugs you could probably tell were just from the place you were just at that happened to find their way to his house. He's got like 6 or 7 of those same like horn mugs like laying around in his house. He's got a few crates that he's like pushed together and thrown a blanket over for a bed. But in the back, you can see this sort of like larger, more ornate wooden door with a large crank, like crank in his mind. He's got like some like glowing, like fungal light kind of on one corner. He's got a torch set. He's got a few lanterns. It's modestly lit, and it's just a shithole in here. But obviously, whatever he's got is in the back.
Gotcha. So, well, that's what I'm interested
In the back.
Oh, see, well, Randolph is more of a purveyor of weird and strange items he finds on his journeys. I tend to collect things I find here in the mines. Quite a few artifacts I found here and there, but I just don't have the sense to open up a business. I'm more of a collector, you see.
So I guess you could say the same about myself.
Well, thanks for visiting. And he goes, just showing up the door.
Whoa, it's looking time.
Yeah. I'll say, well, he told me specifically I may be able to procure a magical bag off of you.
I have a handy haversack that he gave you when we were both younger in our exploration days. It's been old, but it still works. Something you're interested in?
Yes.
1,000 gold. Woo!
I feel like that's how I make robbery, you know.
Woo! It is. You know handy haversacks usually go for far less.
I asked you what kind of business you were trying to run, but you did just.
I don't run a business, I run a
I'll say, well, Granted, he didn't have one, you do, but even I know that that's not that expensive.
Okay. What would you offer me for it? Oh, Micah, give me a D% roll. Give me another one, actually, sorry.
71.
Okay. You remember, like, okay, and you search in your pocket, and you remember the cave that you raided with the bandits on the road here. You pull out the one item that you found there was this clear liquid. It's like very slippery. It's an oil slipperiness. You're probably not gonna want to. It's just slippery oil. You disintegrate with your mind. But a pretty good bartering tool.
Yeah, I'll say, say I just got this off of a bunch of wooden cultists on the way here in my journeys. I'd be glad to part ways with it. Surely I have a better use for that than I do.
What does it do?
It increases the effect of gravity on one individual.
What do I know that it does, John?
It is just slippery oil.
I'll say, well,
it can even be slippery on like sand.
okay. So it's slippery no matter what it
Yes.
does, basically. I'll explain that. It's oil that can be used for its slipperiness on any surface.
Any surface.
Any surface.
Any surface.
Any surface.
See this devilish little grin. 300 gold in the oil.
Also, because I got that image in my head, 200. and,
Okay, fine. Yeah, 200. Take it.
Okay.
Speaking of slippery, that was a slippery deal.
Takes the oil, he throws it in the bag. It smells terrible, but
That
pretty
smells
clean.
terrible.
As you empty it out, there's like moldy bread in there and like shit he's like forgotten about. He's like, okay, I've got some experimentations to get out.
I'm collecting no more. Be gone.
Your experiment, how slippery that stuff really is.
As you sort of like go to close the door, like close it behind you, you see him like rubbing a little bit between his fingers and like with one hand and the other like getting his belt undone. And you close the door to whatever he's gonna do with that oil slipperiness.
Frictionless!
And walk your way down the path with a new handy haversack and a mental image that you probably didn't want in your head.
Handy haversack and leave.
Physically erase that memory from my
I'm suffering a pain of exhaustion now.
As you are kind of going down the trail, Jared, you go a little bit out, you start your meditation process, and you once again kind of like become one with the nature of the area around here.
what he's doing.
As you are sort of like you're in this trance, extending your consciousness, this wave of flowers kind of extending from underneath your body, you're able to hear a sort of a bit of a conversation almost and you notice that you're not alone. As you sort of pick up on this, you can notice that there's about 4 people about 30 yards ahead of you. You're in the brush, but they're on the trail, kind of walking through the trail, like toward the town.
Okay.
Snafu, as you're walking up, you are also able to see these people kind of rounding this bend as you're like kind of sitting there on a tree, under a tree eating your sandwich. Well, like a little ways away. These people are dressed in black robes, and they got like red accents, like a red sash, and a lot of them are covered in burns, like burnt hands, like a seared face, and they appear to be walking kind of jauntily toward town. As they're walking past, you hear one of them say, "So she told us that they don't give it to us, we just burn it down, right?" And the other says, "Yeah, we're allowed to take whatever we want, and if they give us any trouble, we turn them into ash." I'm like, okay, good. So she says it's here, right? Says, "No, well, that's what she says. If that tribe's not here, then maybe Gar's got it finally. I don't know." And she says it's either here or at that keep. Who knows? But if it's not here, we at least know where it's gonna be. And with that, they kind of walk past you for around town. You see the pulling hoods, pulling clothes.
Okay. They just keep going.
Let's keep going.
Okay. Is Snafu approaching, or is he still pretty far away?
So what's that?
How far where were we in relation to each other?
Where were we in relation to each other? So you're seeing, like, how were you set up? You were just a ways away watching.
I told you generally where I was going to be doing my
Alright, I guess part of the thing
isn't
is,
that much.
had you already started your ritual at this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
You saw her doing her light meditation where she's floating like an inch above the ground and like plants kind of like seeping out from underneath.
Sandwich? I'll be back.
I accept the sandwich. Nom, 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 nom. Using Warcaster, I will eat said sandwich.
A little cold, pretty good.
I pull it out of my bag though, so it still should be fairly
Oh,
fresh.
yeah.
It's not good stale or anything. And they're heading towards freedom.
Yes.
How far outside of freedom are we?
You're about 2 months.
Do these look like some of these fire elemental people? Cultists?
They weren't wearing any garb that was like giant garish symbols on them. Like I said, just mostly like black rags and robes with like some red accents here and there. Like maybe somebody had like a red turban, one did like a red sash across his chest. They were lightly armed, some with scimitars, some with like stone weaponry, a few whatever. But the one distinguishing thing was they all had burn marks. Or all obvious burn marks.
And they seem nonchalant about it too, so that's kind of a red flag, I think. I'm gonna stealthily trail them,
Okay.
keeping an eye out for any vantage points if needed.
Okay.
Did Snafu, did you pass by me?
Why did you do this?
You did, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't know if that was a joke or if you really were. I'll remain in my casting state, but I'll assume because I've done this so much around you, we have a protocol, like if there's an emergency or you need me.
Probably know at least my attitude is like something's up. I gotta, that's why I'll be back.
Yeah, but right, like if you need me to break this, I will, but give me the sign.
Okay. As you start to trail them, and you start to trail off, you get back in your trance. And while you kind of go back under, you now notice this sort of other presence kind of lingering in the area.
It's not
As you begin your ritual casting once again, in the back of your mind, you hear this voice that starts subtle, kind of to like a whisper, and eventually gets to about the loudest it gets is like a talk, like a scream, like a talk, and it just keeps saying, "I am the true fire. I am the true fire. I true fire.
I think this will be enough to distract her into breaking it and actually,
When you wake up, you are surrounded by grass that you've grown. So there's a large field of, like, I'll say pinkish bluish flowers. They kind of extend out about like 30 feet, but burned, singed into those flowers like black, burned earth. It's that same ice symbol that you saw. And that's what we're going to do tonight.
So I figured out what magic is. Species. The magical power the magic artifact they're looking for in those mines. The turban. When you wear this turban, you turn into and then all the elements become one.
But only when you perform the sacred ritual dance.
So
that's the tune.
we'll do 10 experience for tonight. You guys have made it to my D&D interpretation of the Temple of Elemental Evil. Hopefully we'll have fun. And yeah, next time we will delve deeper into the cult's various machinations and what presence. Obviously, there's something here. If it's burning the symbol into Pyretta's field of flowers, it must have some kind of influence. We'll find out next time.
we gonna throw hands.
Didn't ask for a stealth roll. Trying to lure me away. No.
I'm at a total of 70 right now.
I'm at 60.
I'm at 60 myself. Alright everybody, so that's it for tonight's game of D&D. I'll be back with a new game on Wednesday, and I hope to see you all then.
Bye, everybody.
Bye everybody. Oh, and one last cool little shout out. There's been no camera around here, but Jesse Kiliani has supplied us with this awesome D20 light that changes colors, and it's all weird and flashy on the stream, but it's not like that on us. But yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how to work this bad boy into the stream somehow. So, but thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Shepherd Adventurers.
Later.